Okay, campers, rise and shine, and don't forget your booties because it's cold out there.
It's cold out there every day. What is this, Miami Beach?
Not hardly. And you can expect hazardous travel later today with that, the whole blizzard thing.
Oh, that blizzard thing? That blizzard thing. Well, here's the report. The National Weather Service is calling for a big blizzard thing.
Yes, they are. But there's another reason why today is especially exciting.
Especially cold.
Especially cold, okay. But the big question on everybody's lips.
Their chapped lips.
Their chapped lips, right? Do you think Phil's gonna come out and see his shadow?
Punxsutawney Phil.
That's right, chuckers.
It's
Groundhog Day. All right, welcome back, everyone. This is Dave from the Corn Productions Deep Dive TV podcast. My co-host Stacy. Of course, today we're talking about Groundhog Day. In case you couldn't tell, that would be the 1993 flick with Bill Murray starring and Harold Ramis directing.
Hang on a second, Dave. Cut.
What?
I'm having deja vu here.
Are you?
I feel like we've already done this.
What? You know what? Oh, you know what? I think you're right. We did do this already.
Well, there goes our plans for today's episode.
I mean, I guess we have nothing to do
with call
today.
Call it right there.
Well, I guess I'm just going to do a couple of birthday shout-outs.
Yeah, we did have some birthdays we had to announce this week.
Right. So this was actually yesterday. Jane Luck, who played Maureen on The Institute, turned 60 today.
Happy birthday to Jane.
Happy birthday. And Pauly Shore, who we talked about in Son-in-Law, just turned 62 years old.
Wow, that's
Pauly
hard
Shore?
to believe.
I know, right?
Happy birthday to him.
Right. Rachel LaFar, who played Julia on Under the Dome, turned 47.
Okay, happy birthday to Rachel.
Happy birthday to Rachel.
And if you want to get onto our birthday calendar, all you have to do is send us a message, an email, leave a comment, tell us when your birthday is, and we'll add you to the calendar and give you a shout out on a video that comes out around your birthday.
All right, so we aren't going to talk about Groundhog Day
because we've already done that.
Yes, pretty much. But we do have a few friends that have a few words to say about it.
We have friends?
Yes, we do. We have quite a few that we picked up in the last couple of years
right.
on the podcast.
We've got a lot of friends of the podcast, and some of these people you probably are going to recognize.
Why don't we kick it off to them?
All right, let's see what our friends have to say about Groundhog Day.
All right.
Well, it's Groundhog Day again.
Hello, Albie here. Thanks, Dave and Stacy, for letting me talk about Groundhog Day a little bit. It's a very good film. It's one of my favorites. I watch it every year. It's become a tradition since, I guess, it came out on DVD. I saw it in a theater when it first came out. And funny thing is, I fell asleep during the middle part of the movie, so I just thought it was a very short film.
Hello, everybody. I'm John McNeil, and I'm going to comment on Groundhog Day. Very interesting movie. I love Bill Murray. I love the whole cast, actually. Ned the Head, Phil Connors,
Hey, my name is Peter. I am one of the hosts of the Quantum Leap podcast and also run the Companion Network, Companion spelled with a K. I want to give a shout out to Stacy for giving me a chance to kind of give my thoughts on one of my favorite time traveling movies, specifically time loop movies. Groundhog Day. What can I say about it? It's inspired. It kind of created like a whole genre on its own, inspiring movies like 1201, Source Code, Happy Death Day, Live Die Repeat, which was renamed to The Edge of Tomorrow. But it's a very simple premise. I think the fantastical element of it is what makes it fun. Being just kind of the what if of waking up every single day, it being the start of the same day and everything happening.
Hi, I'm Nikki McEnroy, and here are my thoughts on the movie Groundhog Day. It is by far one of my top 10 favorite movies of all time. Bill Murray he's Bill Murray, and it's one of his classic films. I watch it every single year.
Hello everyone, my name's Dermot Dafflin, and I'm from Ireland. Thank you so much for inviting me along to this video. I am a huge fan of Groundhog Day. In fact, it's one of my favorite films of Bill Murray. It's up there along with Ghostbusters and My Cousin Vinny. I just think it is a phenomenal film.
My thoughts on this movie are I love it. It's become a tradition, and I rate it 8 out of 10.
If I had to give it a rating out of 5, I'd give it 7 all-you-can-eat breakfasts. Can you imagine just being able to eat all you want and not, gaining any weight? That'd be pretty cool.
Hi, my name is Heather Taylor. I'm a writer. And I've always had a secret, or not so secret, love of Groundhog Day. I think because it both is slated as a romance, it's also to be magical realism.
The soundtrack is great. The music's great. I'm your weatherman. Of course, I am the weatherman, the Maharaja of meteorology, the heel pro wrestling manager. I managed Gary Thunder and Eric Storm together. They were a thunderstorm, and I was the weatherman. So that was fun. And I often used some lines from this in that character.
So, many funny scenes, kidnapping the Phil and driving off the cliffs and getting drunk in the bar. And
Saddest part is when he can't save the life of that homeless man. Breaks his heart, breaks my heart.
I really enjoyed the part where Phil was trying to help the homeless man, not die. And that's a little bit of a heartbreaking beat to the story. But again, it teaches us that, no matter what you do, sometimes you can't just change things that you would feel need changing.
But hey, you can't beat him kidnapping Puxatawny Phil and driving off a cliff.
That's not bad for a quadruped. Just check your mirrors, okay? Just side of your eye, side of your eye, side of your eye. Yeah, that's it. Hey, they're chasing us. Come on, make it fun. Don't drive angry. Don't drive angry. We mustn't keep our public waiting, Phil. It's showtime.
It's a really dark film, that really eats into Bill Murray's character. Just about how angry, how upset, and how he feels he's been dealt with by the world. He didn't get what he wanted in life, and he's taking it out on everyone else.
It can be dark too for a comedy. I mean, like he gets so depressed, Phil, and he keeps trying to kill himself, and it's just like, ugh, really? Can't just like go to sleep and wait for it to turn midnight again or 6 a.m.
To me, it is a dark, twisted version of It's a Good Life and Quantum Leap. It's a Good Life where he didn't want to exist anymore, whereas in Groundhog Day, he trapped in the one day over and over again his own personal hell, which I will come back to. But over time, he wants to do a lot of good. He wants to help everybody, and he knows exactly where he needs to be and what he needs to do to help them. Not unlike Quantum Leap.
My favorite part is when Phil steps in the puddle. It reminds me of stepping in the same kind of puddle when I was young, and I got splashed by it, actually.
Or am I right? Or am I right? Or am I right? Or am I right?
And we get to see kind of Bill Murray's gradual descent into madness, especially with the character of Ned Ryerson that he encounters all the time. And, they set up the movie so perfectly that we kind of know Phil's anxiety, in the film.
One of my favorite characters is Ned, Needle Nose Ned.
My favorite character is Ned Ryerson. He is just hilarious. From the very first scene to the very final scene. He's just allowed every single time, want to sell him life insurance, and he just wants to get away.
Stephen Tobolowsky, he's great as Ned. I remember they did a commercial not too long ago. Something like a parody of this. He was in it, I think. It was pretty good.
But this is where I come back to hell. I always found there was something slightly unusual at a young age about this character. And then I heard this theory of the devil. Now, it's not one that I believe, but it's one that I love. In Ned Racing, it's actually the devil. He has trapped him in this world, in this torture to live over and over and over again. And every single day, Ned stops him, gets him to buy life insurance. And every single time, he says no, until the final day, where he agreed he would buy all his insurance, all his life insurance for everything. But in fact, the theory goes that Ned is the devil. And what has actually been done, he has sold his soul away to the devil. And by signing that contract, he got out of hell. Therefore, he saw February the 3rd. So yes, I love that little theory. And it probably explains a little bit why I find him to be a little bit weird.
There's many times where I thought he was in hell. Because maybe that's just what happens, time is a loop, space-time.
I think it's based on, just trying to find yourself, make yourself a better person, and hope that everybody can do the same thing. If given the choice to relive the same day and better yourself, even if there's no outcome, it's worth trying.
And when we first meet Phil Connors, I think, when you're writing, you're always seeing this idea of like, whatever their life is, that moment is this idea of like status equals death. Like they cannot continue this way forever. And Phil is so cynical. He hates his job. He seems to hate life. And to me, every day he's living in that way is living his own Groundhog Day already. He is living in this repetitive life. And then by going on this journey, suddenly finding himself waking up every day, February 2nd, every day, February 2nd. And he just goes through this really interesting journey from first going like, well, I can't, I'm just despondent. I can't live like this. And then thinking, oh, maybe I'm going to get the interest of this woman that I think is cute, that I like. And first goes through a journey of manipulation.
I love romantic comedies, and this is a good romantic comedy. And in a way, it's kind of a messed up romantic comedy because you got Bill Murray like doing everything he can using time travel to get with this girl, Andie MacDowell. But I think it's less about him trying to trick her. That's probably how it starts off. But then it just becomes about how Bill Murray, Phil, can improve himself to be good enough for Andie.
But it wasn't until, he decided he really wanted to be with the producer lady that he just became himself.
My favorite scene is when Bill and Andie are in the gazebo and he dips her.
Probably the most heartbreaking thing is when he actually starts falling for her and then the loops start again and she has no idea who he is.
Taught himself how to play the piano. God knows how long that actually took.
I remember during the pandemic, I started to think of it like Groundhog Day because it was, a year and a half, or close to 2 of just being inside every day and doing the same thing every day, pretty much all the time. And I remember had all these plans and I was like, you know what? I think I will play the piano. And I learned the piano. And we had a piano. I didn't learn the piano. I didn't do anything during that time. I just pretty much chilled, relaxed, and probably watched Groundhog Day a few times.
The montage of him learning different skills, the ice sculpting, also playing the piano are some of my favorite moments from the film.
And my favorite scene, I think, one of my top favorite scenes is when he's in the waiting area of the B&B with all the old people just lounging in the lazy boy, answering all the questions to Jeopardy before they even ask it and blowing everyone's mind.
I got to say, my favorite parts of this movie is when he's watching Jeopardy over and over again and then is getting all the answers right and impressing all the people at that bed and breakfast he's in. And of course, when he continuously takes the free piano lesson and just eventually knocks it out of the park.
Simple story, really. A guy tries to improve himself to win the woman he loves. And I think at first it was about like a conquest. And then after he got to know her, it became more about feelings and love. And I don't know, that was a little bit inspiring to me. And I don't know, it captures that feeling of there's different types of love. There's like love at first sight. There's love of infatuation. There's just like lust, plain lust. And then there's this thing where you slowly get to know someone, and the more you find out about them, the more you love them more and more, and they become more attractive to you, and like they seem to be more perfect for you.
And then finally going to this place of like actually finding the things he loves. And in doing so, I think it's more about then loving himself. And so even though it's slated as a romance, I think it's really a journey of self-love. And so I think it's such a fun thing to watch, and to watch Bill Murray, who plays Phil, go through this range of emotions, but to see someone who goes from being cynical not only about himself and the people around him and his world, and the idea and the notion of like long-lasting love itself, to go to this place of actually finding like peace with people and love for people, and love for his own existence, and deciding like, you know, it is time for him to move forward.
And, pretty much became, a good person, a better person. And there's something to be said for that for everybody. So
I like that Phil grows as a person when he's trying to be everything he can be for Andie MacDowell's character, Rita. But he ends up like becoming a better human and doing all this self-improvement.
My favorite character and why is Bill Murray. And it's because I like him. I just love Bill Murray. I think he's funny. He's so talented.
Andie MacDowell is just one of my favorite actresses. I also loved her in movies like Bad Girls, Multiplicity. So really holds her own against the great Bill Murray.
Gave me a crush on Andie MacDowell, of course. I get my crushes. And I think the only thing I saw her in before that was she in Sex, Lies, and Videotape? I'm not sure.
Also, Chris Elliott, just amazing. Before Chris Elliott, I think people kind of forget him in this role, but I feel with like his character on Schitt's Creek, Roland, and you could kind of see bits and pieces of him. I used to watch Cabin Boy.
I was a big fan of Chris Elliott from the Dave Letterman show, and then again from his TV show. I think it was Get a Life, and of course Cabin Boy.
So this movie, holds a special place in my heart, just with some of the cast members from the film.
I know there's lots of theories on what it's all about, how long it took. I don't like to break it down into those ways of thinking, so I just like the movie.
Overall, it's a fun love story, and it has that moment, the build up. The whole thing about rom-coms or just romantic films in general is that moment when they actually fall in love with each other. And there's that moment in the film, and there's also the moment where it turns, I think, 6:01 a.m. and he gets to keep her. They get to keep each other.
And my favorite quote is, "Today is tomorrow. It happened."
Hey, it's Brian Green from Al's Place Quantum Leap fan site, here to talk about Groundhog Day for just a moment. My favorite character is, of course, Ned Ryerson, and my favorite scene is where he gets slapped by Phil, and then Phil steps over the puddle for the first time. Hey, it's Brian Green from Al's Place Quantum Leap fan site, here to talk to you about Groundhog Day. My favorite character is Ned Ryerson, and my favorite scene is where Phil is driving off with the groundhog in the car. Hey, it's Brian Green from Al's Place Quantum Leap fan site. I'm here today to talk about Groundhog Day. My favorite character is Ned Ryerson, and my favorite scene is where Phil gets slapped over and over and over again. Hey, it's Brian Green from Al's Place Quantum Leap fan site. Here to talk to you about Groundhog Day for a moment. My favorite character is Ned Ryerson, and my favorite scene is where Phil guesses all the answers to Jeopardy every time. Hey, it's Brian Green from Al's Place, here to talk to you about Groundhog Day. My favorite character is Ned Ryerson, and my favorite scene is where Phil sings and plays Boogie Woogie. Okay, campers, rise and shine, and don't forget your booties, because it's cold out there today. Whatever happens tomorrow, for the rest of my life, I'm happy now, because I love you.
It's currently 43 degrees here, which is the coldest I remember it in a long time. And it's actually cold inside the house. That's how cold it got. Like, the house didn't get to warm up enough during the daytime to keep the heat overnight. So I'm bundled up inside. I mean, the space station. Yeah, because it's cold outside.
Sure, he spent like from 10 to, I don't know, I saw this read somewhere, 10 to 300 years finding self-improvement. I hope all of us can find it much sooner than that, but not in the guise of being better for someone else, but really finding the things that we truly love.
It's a classic film. Happy 33rd anniversary to Groundhog Day. Unfortunately, the end of Bill Murray and Harold Ramis's professional time together, but such a great one. Watch it again.
Anyways, hope you enjoy your Groundhog's Day. I hope for no shadow, and I'll talk to you later. Thanks. Bye.
So almost an annual watch, and again, thank you for giving me the opportunity to kind of share a little bit about the things that I love about it.
It's basically a silly movie from 1993 about a funny guy that's not happy with life, trying to get the girl. And luckily he does get a girl and he finds love. And that's the dream, isn't it? Finding love. Thanks for having me, Dave and Stacey. I really appreciate you having me on. And remember to check me out on Trexploration. That's youtube.com/@Trexploration. Links down below and everywhere else in the thing. And hey, let's send Serenity to space camp.
Overall, Groundhog Day is one of my favorite films, and I watch it every single year. But not in the second of February, Christmas. What's that about? Anyway, enjoy the rest of this video, and I hope you all enjoy this film. Bye!
Thanks for having me. Bye for now.
All right. Well, that was our friends. That was pretty cool to hear from them.
Yeah, thank you all so much for joining us. We really appreciate your input and what everybody thinks about Groundhog Day.
Yes, it's nice to know that it's not just us, that's one of our, their favorite movies as well, that this is a universally loved film even after all these years. Of course, you can stay tuned and watch the entire rest of what follows. It's just going to be a re-release of what we've already done. We've already done this podcast. If you want, you can listen again. If you're new, you can listen to that. Otherwise, you can just skip the rest.
I don't remember what we said, so I'm going to go listen.
All right, me too. Let's do it.
I got you, babe. I got you, babe. They say our love won't pay the rent, for it's earned, our money's up.
Welcome back, everyone. This is Dave from Corn Productions, my co-host Stacey. Better get your booties on because it's cold outside. We're here talking about Groundhog Day, the 1993 movie starring Bill Murray. And I was originally going to do this little thing where I redid the intro again, for the Groundhog Day theme. I thought it would just play like I screwed up, so I decided against it.
Yeah, we do that enough.
So the movie's description reads as follows. A narcissistic, self-centered weatherman finds himself in a time loop on Groundhog Day. The movie was written by Danny Rubin and Harold Ramis, 5 writing credits for Rubin in total, and the movie was directed by Harold Ramis. 44 writing credits for him, including credits on the Ghostbusters movie, Caddyshack Year 1, and Analyze This, and its sequel, Analyze That. 15 directorial credits, including Bedazzled, Multiplicity, and The Ice Harvest. And 25 acting credits, including Ghostbusters 1 and 2, and Orange County. He died on February 24th, 2014, at the age of 69. Before going any further, I'll tell you a couple things. One, this is not a Sport Review Podcast. If you haven't watched the movie, I highly recommend you go and check it out, and then come back and give us a listen. Secondly, if you're listening on one of the platforms this podcast is available on, please follow, and feel free to check out my YouTube channel, Corn Productions, where additional content can be discovered. If you're already on my YouTube channel, please like, share, and comment, and subscribe to the channel. All right, first off, happy Groundhog Day.
Happy Groundhog Day!
Hopefully the groundhog did not see its shadow.
I don't know, because, well, we're recording this a little early.
Yep.
It's still January for us, because we time travel when we talk about movies. But we haven't had much winter yet, to be honest, where we're at. I know there's some people are having some pretty heavy winters, but we've been pretty lucky.
Right. It's pretty cold, but we're not getting a lot of snow.
It's been cold, but there's been very little snow.
Right.
So I got a feeling it's going to last a while, because it's being so mild that I think it's going to linger.
We're going to have, like, snow in June, basically.
Yeah, maybe. We might.
One thing about this movie, it's the last collaboration between Bill Murray and Harold Ramis. They infamously had a falling out because of this movie.
Yes.
Bill Murray at the time was going through a divorce, and that's part of the reason why he was acting the way he was. And also, he was notoriously difficult to work with. Basically, there's stories upon stories about how difficult this man is to work with.
So kind of like Phil Connors?
Basically, yeah. Actually, I think Phil Connors might be better than Bill Murray. But also, they clash creatively. Bill Murray wanted a darker story, a more existential kind of horror movie kind of deal, where Harold Ramis was going for a more kind of rom-com type of deal. I think where this movie ends up is right smack in the middle of that, because there's definitely some darker edges to this movie.
There are.
Yes. But
I definitely read some stuff where there were at times plans for it to be much darker.
Right. They didn't end up making up after this movie until Bill Murray was not Bill Murray. Harold Ramis was on his deathbed, basically, which is really kind of sad and depressing that, like, creative differences would become between friends like that.
Yeah.
Let's not let that ever happen between the two of us.
Okay.
All right, so Stacey, your thoughts on this week's movie?
So, Groundhog Day, it's classic, it's fun. It's not exactly time travel, but it's timey-wimey, so it fits in our wheelhouse.
Right.
And I think it's a great start for us as far as covering timey-wimey movies. And I know we have a lot of them that we want to cover.
Yes.
93. So in February, I would have been 10 years old when this movie came out. And I remember it from when I was that little.
Yeah.
And this is another one, like, it's something I talk about when we were doing the Christmas specials. This is what I had on VHS tape at my house. So, and when I bring that up is everything we owned on VHS, we watched.
Right.
Over and over and over again.
Yep.
So this was one of them. We owned this one, watched the crap out of it as a kid. And it's funny because I don't own it now, and I wasn't sure. We were looking for it because it wasn't available anywhere to watch, and then we found it. But that's another story,
right?
And I'm not going to go into that because it might change by the time it actually this airs.
I'm sure.
So look for it, and hopefully you can find it somewhere. And
yeah, I was probably about 12 when this movie came out, and I know for a fact that I went to the movies to see this movie.
Oh, okay.
And I went with my dad, and I remember him saying some things about like. The whole thing with Nancy where he seduces her, he kind of expected to see more of that. Or was it Nancy? It was it was Nancy. Okay. He expected to see more of that kind of thing. I remember him commenting on that. So I actually watched this movie with my dad. So it has that kind of memory for me there, and it's a great movie.
It's a great movie. And you know what's really funny to think about is I don't think the holiday of Groundhog Day was in public view,
right,
until this movie. And that's one of the sprinkled throughout my notes. I have a bunch of little trivia factoids that I got from IMDb. IMDb had like 50-something trivia facts listed for this movie. I didn't include all of them, but I pulled out some, and I'm gonna say right up front that I didn't actually like research or verify any of these little tidbits. So it might not all be 100% accurate.
Right.
Because I didn't have time to really do a lot of research on that end. But because, anybody can add a fact on IMDb. So it's possible I have something that's not entirely accurate. But it should be the gist of it, right?
Right.
What was I getting at? I don't know what I was getting at with that. What were we just talking about?
You were talking about trivia.
Before that, I was leading somewhere. Oh my goodness!
I'm not actually sure where you were going.
I'm not sure where I was going either.
Oh yeah. That basically this movie put Groundhog Day on the map.
Okay.
Is what you were saying.
Okay. Yeah. So one of the things I read, and I don't think it ended up in my notes explicitly, but basically that who was the other writer? The original writer?
Danny Rubin.
Yeah, so he wrote the original script, which is very different from the movie we ended up with before Ramis got involved with it.
And actually, there was more to it than that. That Bill Murray and Danny Rubin were actually tinkering with the script, and there was some kind of like behind-the-scenes stuff where Harold Ramis was panicking because of the stuff that they wrote. And anyway, what were?
But basically, he didn't know when the movie was going to take place. It wasn't Groundhog Day originally.
Okay.
It was this concept, right, of being stuck in a day. And I don't remember who it said threw that idea out there, but eventually it came up February 2nd. Well, why February 2nd? Like, it was totally ambiguous date. And then apparently he said that he found out there was this little known holiday that happens on that date. And then it all evolved from there to being the story that it is.
Gotcha. Okay.
Taking place on Groundhog Day and revolving around, this small town.
Okay.
Which is so weird to think about that you would describe Groundhog Day as this little known holiday.
Right.
I mean, it's not like hugely celebrated, but in my mind, it's pretty well known.
Right. I mean, that's because
of the movie.
When this movie came out, we basically celebrated Groundhog Day every year. So that was just like, and it's probably as a result of this movie.
That's what I'm saying,
yeah,
right?
Yeah.
This movie changed the culture of this holiday. That it was originally just like this like local little traditional thing.
Right.
But now it's like worldwide known. Like, yeah, it's Groundhog Day.
Yeah. So funny thing to note is that this movie follows a similar trajectory, and we talked about this when we did the movie Scrooge. It follows a similar, thorough line as that movie. Bill Murray's character takes a similar journey. I think this movie actually justifies that journey a little bit better than Scrooge did.
Well, this movie goes through all the stages of grief.
Yes.
So his character is going to go through all these different stages, which I don't have those actually written down. But
let's see.
Depression. These aren't going to be in order.
Depression, bargaining, anger.
Yeah, all those.
Acceptance, yeah.
I think there's one or two more.
Yeah.
But yeah, he goes through all that throughout the course of this, throughout the course of this film, to land on, of course, his perfect day when it finally sticks. And it's a fun movie.
Yes.
It's fun. It's funny. There's a lot of comedy in it.
Yep.
Like you said, there's also some little dark spots.
Yep.
But I don't think they get too crazy dark.
No, I think they end
There's a couple really dark moments, but they just kind of jump through them quick.
It's really funny because for all the behind-the-scenes stuff that was going on and tension, none of that is reflected on screen. And I think they achieved the perfect balance. And by the way, since Harold Ramis' death, Bill Murray who initially was not fond of this movie in the aftermath, he has since embraced the movie, and so he went on a similar trajectory in the stages of grief. He landed at acceptance with this movie. You have anything else to say before diving in?
So some of the facts didn't land anywhere specific, so I just want to cover a couple of them.
Sure thing.
And some of them was questions that we were having that we talked about prior to digging into the research, right?
Yeah.
One question was, how long do we think that he was stuck in this time loop?
So yeah, it's interesting. Your husband said something like he heard 10,000
right.
years. I, by the way, tried to keep track of how many days we actually saw. I landed at 36. And I'm sure I probably missed a few.
I read someone say there's 39 days depicted, but obviously they don't depict every day.
Right, of course.
Because they show us things like he learned the piano and he learned how to ice sculpt.
Yeah, there's no way
he
you
mentioned
do that.
spending 6 months learning to throw cards.
Right.
So there's all these cues that we're just kind of hitting the highlights.
Yeah.
And he would have done all of these things dozens or hundreds of times.
Right. Yeah.
But I found the factoid that my husband came up with where he heard 10,000 years.
Okay.
So apparently in the special features for one of the DVD versions, Harold Ramis stated that the original idea was to have Phil live in the day for 10,000 years.
Okay.
But later he states that Phil probably spent about 10 years in that day.
Okay.
So according to Ramis, that's where he landed, was about 10 years.
All right.
Which I think fits better into what you and I were thinking when we were watching this movie prior to the note-taking phase.
Yeah, that makes sense. All right. Anything else?
Originally, we had some other people in mind to play the lead.
Oh. Who did we have in mind?
There was Tom Hanks was considered.
Okay. I sort of see that.
Ramis decided against it, saying that he was too nice for this role.
Yeah, I can see that, but
they wanted someone not so nice.
Right. Well, how about the guy who played, Scrooge in Scrooged?
Maybe that would have been a good idea.
Yeah.
Other considerations were Chevy Chase.
Okay.
Steve Martin. I think I'd like to see that one.
Yeah, I see it.
Robin Williams.
He's, I don't know. I mean, he did some darker roles towards the end of his career, but I don't really, not at this stage in his life.
Michael Keaton.
Okay.
And John Travolta.
Okay. I don't really see Michael Keaton playing that role. I mean, he could have, I guess, but it wouldn't have been as memorable. Bill Murray was really the perfect choice when it comes down to it.
Yeah, but it would be fun to see alternate versions
absolutely.
Of a story like this.
Yeah.
Another question that I asked you that you didn't know is, where was this filmed? Was it actually filmed in Punxsutawney?
Right.
The answer is it was not.
Yeah.
This was filmed in Woodstock, Illinois, which is just 50 miles from Bill Murray's hometown of Wilmette, Illinois. I probably said that wrong. And in Woodstock, there's a plaque on the curb where Bill Murray steps in the puddle that says, "Bill Murray stepped here." And then on the corner of that building, there's another sign that says Ned's Corner, which is where he would always run into Ned Ryerson.
Well, that kind of sounds like you're either Ned is doing drug deals there or running a prostitute ring.
If you look during the Ned scenes, one of the buildings in the background is Woodstock Jewelers, which is, of course, named that because they're filming in the town of Woodstock.
Gotcha. Okay.
So it's a quaint little town that I guess kind of gave them the vibe of the actual Punxsutawney, but not actually filmed in Punxsutawney.
All right.
And, the other thing was the fact they reprised these roles. Bill Murray, Stephen Tobolowsky, and Brian Doyle Murray reprised their roles for a Super Bowl commercial.
Oh, that's right.
In 2020 for Jeep.
Yep.
Where they recreated the whole groundhog driving scene.
Gotcha. That's funny.
That's funny.
Yeah.
So that goes back to you saying how he embraced the movie a little bit, because previous to that, he had been on record saying he never wanted to revisit this again.
Yes.
So
yeah.
I think that's probably the closest thing to a sequel we're gonna get is a little skit like that.
But I don't see how we would do a sequel to this movie. Like, I think there was a fake trailer where.
Just recently, a trailer,
where it was
a big trailer came out.
Bill Murray's daughter or something. Well, not Bill Connor's and Rita's daughter or something along those lines. But yeah,
I mean, it'd be fun.
Yeah.
To do something. I think this story would be better. Not that I want to see a remake of it, but I think it would be better suited for a remake than a sequel.
Well, what's interesting is the idea of repeating the same day over and over again.
Oh, it's been done 1,000 times.
I mean, this is the one that everybody references.
Exactly.
Because this is the most famous example. They even reference it in that movie, A Map of the Tiny Things, or whatever.
Yes, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. That ended up
a
on
lot
Prime.
A lot of movies reference Groundhog Day.
Yeah, and A Map of the Tiny Little Things. Love that movie, too.
Well, maybe we'll add it to our timey-wimey list.
Yeah, well, there we go.
It's going to be quite a list.
Yeah.
And the other thing is something else we talked about, which makes sense, is obviously when filming this, they filmed all of the similar scenes at the same time.
That makes sense.
Right. So they filmed all the Gobblage Knob scenes
together.
They filmed all the Ned scenes together. Like all of the common scenes they would film together.
Well, that's the other thing about this movie is it could this could have very easily, seeing the same scene over and over and over, could get very repetitive. But
Right.
this movie manages to sidestep that.
Yeah.
And it like, you know, when you're filming these scenes, it's like just basically taking another take of the same scene, really, when it comes down to it. It's no different than normal movie making.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Except they would intentionally alter the mood and the lines.
Yes.
And that had to have been trippy to film it.
I'm sure.
It's just like filming regular, except you're doing even more of it because
Right.
you're going to do multiple takes on each of these takes that you
Right.
want.
Yeah.
And probably so many variations they didn't even use, right?
Yeah.
And then later in editing, they decide what order to use which scenes in
Right.
to fit them in which part of the story.
Mm-hmm.
So according to Ramus, most of the time, when trying to explain the scene to Bill Murray, Murray would simply say, just tell me, good Phil or bad Phil? Like, which version am I in this moment that you want
Right.
me to do?
I
Because
guess-
we did a bunch of these good scenes, we did a bunch of the bad.
I guess that makes sense. But yeah, anything else?
I would love to see outtakes.
Oh, I'm sure.
From
I'm
this.
sure the DVD has.
I'm
there's
sure it has some, but like there must be so much footage that they
Right.
took.
Mm-hmm.
Just getting various different like little nuance differences of these scenes.
Yeah, I can imagine that they could probably like have 3 hours worth of a movie just on those alternate takes.
Right. I bet they could.
Yeah.
And that'd be fun. All right. So we might as well head into the scene by scene because we've been blabbing for quite a while.
Yeah.
And if anybody here is new and hasn't listened to us before, thanks for being here, first of all.
Yes.
What we're going to do is as we meet each actor, we're going to pause, tell you who the actor is, and name a couple of things from their filmography. So especially in like the first half of the film, there's going to be a lot of that because there's
Right.
a lot of people. But then as we get more repetitive, we won't have to introduce as many people.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So there's that.
All right. So the movie begins with a marching band, music played over some clouds, leading into Bill Connor's weather broadcast. Bill Connor's, of course, played by Bill Murray. I didn't look to see how many credits he had this time,
lot.
but you know,
Scrooge,
Ghostbusters,
obviously, which we covered
Scrooge,
recently. Ghostbusters franchise, Saturday Night Live, he was a regular on.
Aloha, 1,000 movies that I can name, and I've seen quite a few of
I
them.
don't think it's quite 1,000.
No,
but
probably not.
Probably
but
not.
That, yeah, it's definitely in the hundreds for sure. So he thinks a storm front is coming, but a warm current is going to make it so that the snow will completely miss Pittsburgh.
And it's going to go to Altoona instead.
Mm-hmm.
And I spelled Altoona wrong in my notes.
How'd you spell it?
With a U, like tuna.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, it gets the idea of pronunciation. It's not like they're the people listening are reading your notes.
No,
so
but
that's
this
good.
is like paragraph 1 of my scene by scene, and I'm already like
Screwing
spelling
things
stuff
up.
wrong. So, wow.
Yeah.
Good luck with me as we get further into this.
So he sits down and informs his audience that he will miss the 10 o'clock broadcast because he's heading to Punxsutawney, Pennsylvania to watch the Groundhog ceremony. He sits with his co-host, played by Carol Bivens. She's basically credited as Anchorwoman.
She's credited as Anchorwoman. He calls her Nan.
Yeah.
So I don't
does.
know, Nancy?
I'm not really
Maybe?
sure. She only has 6 credits, but one of them is an Albert Brooks movie that I absolutely adore, in Defending Your Life. Did you notice anything interesting?
She's in 2 episodes of The Division and an episode of Boston Public.
Okay. She says he must really enjoy it, with it being the 3rd year in a row. And he corrects the record and saying 4. And the co-host concludes the show, and as soon as the cameras are off, he's practically running out of his seat. She tells him to have fun, but it seems like she doesn't really mean it.
Yeah, and he calls her hairdo at that
Right,
point, so
yeah.
they don't have a great relationship.
No.
We're going to really quickly see he doesn't have a great relationship with anybody.
No.
He's kind of an ass.
Just kind of. But he's not as extreme as he was in Scrooge, where he's basically
Right.
kicking puppies
Yeah.
and stealing taxis from old women. He doesn't get quite that far.
Right.
He's
just, not anybody's favorite coworker.
Right, no. He turns and says there's a major network interested in him, and Larry, played by Chris Elliott, roasts him by saying that would be the Home Shopping Network.
So Chris Elliott has been in a million things as well. More recently, he was in 79 episodes of Schitt's Creek, which you still haven't watched that, have you?
I have not, but you recommended it. My
it's a
boss
fun
has
show.
recommended it, so I have to.
He plays the mayor, I think is his title in that show. Totally useless Nimwit character.
That's basically what Chris Elliott plays, is totally useless nitwit characters.
Yeah.
I'm going to go right on the record and say that I am not a fan of Chris Elliott. I kind of find him extremely annoying. In this movie, he's pretty tolerable, but in general, I do not like Chris
for
Elliott.
being the third billing of this film, he has a very small role.
Yeah.
Like, Larry doesn't do a whole lot.
Right, no.
He's got some great little moments,
Yeah.
but
Yep.
he's the third billing behind, Phil and Rita, which is kind of crazy.
Yeah.
That he's just this kind of like, he's there too.
Right, yeah.
Let's see. He was also in 10 episodes of Everybody Loves Raymond and reprising that role in an episode of King of Queens.
He was also in The Abyss and Cabin Boy. He has a grand total of 99 credits. So he could easily end up at 100 credits. I'm pretty sure he's still working, so.
I would imagine. I mean, Schitt's Creek wasn't that long ago.
Nope. And yeah,
he had a fairly big role in that series.
Oh, so, yeah, that's something to look forward to when I watch that series. But anyway, next to him is Phil's assistant, played by the late Willie Garson, who we talked about recently in the Quantum Leap episode, Lee Harvey Oswald.
Yes.
He has 172 credits, Sex and the City, The X-Files, and Being John Malkovich, which, if you don't know anything about that movie is a crazy-ass concept.
Don't forget, he's in a second episode of Quantum Leap.
Yes, that's right. He's in 2 episodes.
Played Against Seymour, which is the season 1 finale.
Mm-hmm.
And he's also in 3 episodes of Supergirl,
Yep.
9 episodes of Hawaii Five-0, and an episode of the Magnum P.I. reboot, playing his Hawaii Five-0 character. I tried to pull out different ones than we just did last week ago for us, time traveling, when we talked about him.
It'll have been a month by the time we ended up talking. But he died on September 21st, 2021, at the age of 57. He's credited as assistant, so for the remainder of his time on screen, I'm just going to call him Willie. Anyway, Willie tells him that he doesn't...
His name is Kenny.
Is it?
Yeah, Phil's assistant Kenny is his name.
Oh, because it... Oh, okay. All right, so fine, I'll call him Kenny.
Anyways, this is his only scene.
Right.
We're not going to spend a lot of time with him, unfortunately.
Yes. So he says he can handle the 5 o'clock tomorrow, but Phil has a disdain... If Phil doesn't want to rush back, Phil has a disdain for Punxsutawney and wouldn't want to spend a second longer there than needed. Willie tells him that Rita, the producer, thinks it'd be fun to still... stick around and talk to the locals. We see Rita, played by Andie MacDowell, playing around with the weather map as Phil, who clearly looks attracted to her the moment he sees her. And Willie talks. 87 credits for her, including 4 Weddings and a Funeral, Bad Girls, and Cedar Cove. Cedar Cove is an interesting little series, not because I know anything about it, but because it was filmed in Vancouver, which is Carla's, Mac's backyard.
And a lot of stuff is filmed in Vancouver, Dave.
Fair enough. But she was actually mistaken by some people who worked on the show for Andie MacDowell.
Okay, I can see that.
The possibility of her being her stand-in was brought up, and that's something she might want to do in the future. So that'd be really cool for her.
Andie was also in St. Elmo's Fire, Beauty Shop. She was recently in 9 episodes of a series called Maid. Did you catch that one?
I saw the credit. I didn't actually watch
Netflix, I think. So in that film, she plays her real-life daughter, Margaret Qualley's mother.
I'm sorry, could you run that by me again?
The star of Maid,
yes.
Margaret Qualley,
okay,
is Andie MacDowell's daughter.
Oh, okay.
So they played mother and daughter in the show.
Oh, gotcha.
And they're real life mother and daughter.
For some reason,
the only time they actually have worked together.
Oh, okay. I thought you were saying that Andie MacDowell played her daughter in the show, and I was really confused. But anyway,
no, she got to play the on-screen mother of her real life daughter.
Gotcha. Okay, I get it.
That might have been more complicated to say it that way. But anyways, moving on. Rita.
Yes. So she's playing around with the map on
the blue screen.
Blue screen.
Before they discovered the green was better.
I guess.
And it was
so.
blue screens.
He thinks she's Kenny, played by Willie Garson, thinks that she's fun and that they will have a really good time. Phil says she looks fun, but not his type of fun. He shakes his head. Willie, Kenny, shakes his head at Phil, and they do a little transition into a video monitor of traveling to Punxsutawney.
So this whole first scene that we just covered,
yes,
this actually wasn't conceived until they were done filming the movie.
Really?
During the editing process, they realized they needed more of an introduction to this story.
Gotcha.
So that this whole scene was a callback.
So where did this movie start? In the
I don't know exactly, but I guess that's the problem, is they were editing it and they were like, this doesn't work.
Gotcha.
So this whole scene was filmed after principal photography.
Gotcha. Maybe that's why Bill Connors was so eager to run away, because that was actually Bill Murray running away from the scene.
Yeah, because he's
he
like,
doesn't
I'm
want-
done with this movie. Why are you making me come back again?
Right. So we see city shots and more credits, and eventually the newsman.
Yeah, so they drive from Pittsburgh,
Yep.
80 miles to Punxsutawney. That's how far it is that they end up getting stuck there. And we hear the song Weatherman. This movie, by the way, has a great soundtrack.
It does, yeah. Rita, Larry, and Phil are all in the vehicle. During the ride, Phil asks Larry if he can keep a secret, though he doesn't ask Rita if she can keep a secret.
He kind of pretends she doesn't exist at this point.
Right. He says he's probably leaving PBH, so this is going to be the last year that they do the Groundhog Festival together. Larry doesn't understand what his problem is with the festival and points out something that he did that was really tedious back in the day. Rita has a completely different view, thinking it's nice. She does a groundhog imitation, which Bill ends up mocking her for.
Yeah, and he's being not nice.
No. They arrive at their destination. Bill complains about the Fleabag Motel and says, I can't stay here. But as it turns out, Rita actually booked him a nice bread and breakfast somewhere else. Our question that we asked when we watched this together was, where exactly is Larry staying?
Yeah, so she's like, Larry's just dropping me off here. So Rita's staying at the Pennsylvania Hotel. Phil's gonna go to the bed and breakfast. Where's Larry staying?
Right.
Is he also staying in the hotel? I mean, that makes sense.
It would.
But if that's the case, why didn't they drop Phil off first? If
Right.
he has to end up at the hotel where they're dropping Rita off at.
Right, yeah. Maybe Larry's just sleeping in the van.
So yeah, we don't acknowledge where's Larry sleeping, but also, like, why is everybody staying somewhere different?
Yeah.
I don't feel like, not production, accounting
Right.
for the station's gonna like that
No.
they're like just expensing all different places. Like, it seems so silly that
Right.
we're just like all staying in different places.
Yeah, I'm not really sure why they even did that in the script. I mean, I guess it makes sense, but at the same
They
time,
didn't want them all at the bed and breakfast,
Right.
But I don't know.
Yeah.
It's silly. The whole thing's just kind of silly.
Phil says that this is a mark of a good producer, keeping the talent happy. She invites him to dinner with her and Larry. He declines and makes fun of Larry's eating. And out of earshot when Phil gets back into the vehicle, Larry asks Rita jokingly if Phil just referred to himself as the talent, while they both laugh. The next morning, 5:59, the clock flips to 6 a.m., the radio goes off. We hear the song that we will hear at least 100 times in this movie.
I don't think it's quite that many. Well, you said 30-something.
Yeah. I Got You, Babe by Sonny Bono. And I believe it was sung by
and Cher.
Sonny and Cher. Yeah.
So that comes on the radio, and I have a tidbit about that. So
Okay.
apparently Cher stated in an interview after this movie came out that she would get letters from fans saying how much they loved the song that she made for Groundhog Day.
Right.
Not realizing that the song was actually recorded in 1965, almost 30 years earlier.
That's funny.
But the movie did help boost album sales.
That's good.
Because of interest in this song.
So a couple of DJs come on to say, okay, campers, you better get your booties on because it's cold out there.
It's cold out there every day.
Yeah. And they continue on with their routine.
They tell us the blizzard's coming.
Oh, yeah.
The one that, Phil doesn't think
Phil,
is coming.
Phil's saying it's not going to happen. Until they announce it's Groundhog Day.
It's Groundhog Day.
The DJs are played by Richard Hensel and Rob Riley. Richard has 24 credits, including 2 episodes of Early Edition, 2 episodes of Unsolved Mysteries, and The Untouchables, which a lot of the actors that appear in this movie were also in at one point or another. And this was a series. Rob has 24 credits, including appearing in The Untouchables, Prelude to a Kiss, and A Nightmare on the Elm Street, the remake, the 2010 version.
Yeah. And he was also in the movie Richie Rich.
With Macaulay Culkin.
Yes.
Yep. So Bill bounds out of the bed and goes to the sink and splashes his face as they announce Groundhog Day. He pulls the curtains out from leading to the outside, and everyone is heading to see the Groundhog Day on the streets. See the groundhog, I meant to say, at Gobbler's Knob.
Gobbler's Knob, yep.
Bill leaves his room and encounters a person credited as Man in Hallway.
You know what? I was really surprised taking notes on this movie how many of these characters do not have names.
Right, yeah.
Because you get to know all these characters so well, right? Because we revisit every single one of them multiple times. And you don't realize, like, yeah, he doesn't have a name. Half the people in this movie don't have a name.
Right.
And it's just like, wow, but I know them.
Right.
Like, I've watched this movie a million times, and we see each character a million times during the movie.
Well, it's like when you're when you know somebody for so long, you talk to them every day, but you don't actually know their name, and after a certain point, you can't ask because it's awkward.
So he's Man in Hallway.
Yeah.
And Man in Hallway is played by Ken Hudson Campbell.
64 credits for him, including Ferris Bueller's Day Off. I think we were talking about covering that at one point.
Because that comes up an awful lot
in
things that we talk about.
Armageddon in an episode of Girls Meets World.
He played Santa in Home Alone.
Oh, okay. That's right. I saw that.
He was in 72 episodes of Herman's Head. He played Lust.
Okay.
Which actually was on at the same time this movie came out.
Oh,
so
you know what?
he would have been recognizable when
I remember
came
him.
out.
I remember him in that. Like, I didn't make that connection between the two characters. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So he tells Bill good morning, asks if he's off to see the Groundhog Day, and wonders if they're going to have an early spring. Bill predicts March 21st, which as Bill walks away, he says, hey, I think that might actually be the first day of spring.
Yeah, the dry humor is very lost on Man in Hallway.
Downstairs, he encounters Mrs. Lancaster, played by Angela Patton, another Quantum Leap connection. She appeared in the Heart of a Champion episode, and she also appeared in the X-Files and Sliders, which I think we may or may not end up covering that episode.
We have talked about her. Obviously, we talked about her when we did Heart of a Champion.
Yeah.
And I'm positive we have talked about her some other time.
I looked.
And I couldn't find what it was.
Yeah, exactly. I looked through her credits. I don't think there's not a single thing that I saw in her credits that we've actually covered.
But I remember talking about her more than once, like in the podcast.
I know, yeah, more than one episode, that's for sure.
So I was very confused by that. But yes, Heart of a Champion is the only one of these things that we've covered that I could find. Like you said, she was in an episode of X-Files, an episode of Sliders. She was in an episode of Star Trek Voyager.
Yes,
we haven't covered any of that.
No.
So I don't know when else we would have had this conversation.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
But I recall talking about her before.
Yeah.
And at that point, knowing we'd talked about her before.
Right, yes.
A very Groundhog Day kind of moment here.
Exactly. She died on May 26, 2016. She asks if he slept well. He wonders, and he says he slept well. He wonders if he can get a cappuccino and an espresso. She has no idea what that is, so he just ends up grabbing the random slop that's nearby. She brings up the Groundhog Festival and suggests they might have a blizzard. He goes on to give a full weather report.
Yeah, which is really funny.
Which is more than what she was asking for. And then she asks if he's departing today, and he answers that the chances of departure are 100%.
Yes.
And you'll notice that number will go down and down as we go throughout the movie. He walks along the shops, encounters an old homeless man who was looking for help, and Bill blows him off. He's played by Les Podwell. He has 21 credits for him, including Chicago Hope, and his very first credit was 1962 film. This is not his first credit. This is after he had a series of shorts, and then he was in this movie, Night of Evil. He died on November 22nd, 1998, at the age of 91. That's a pretty good run.
The credits I pulled out for him was Only the Lonely and Equinox.
Okay.
And you've done a great job with cast so far in this one.
Yeah,
usually you leave a lot of them to me.
That's because I procrastinated much less doing these notes than I have been recently.
Okay.
So, I did get there are some people that I didn't bother getting because I knew you were going to do it.
I get everybody.
Right.
It's a little tedious.
Yeah.
It's become our thing.
Yes. Yeah.
I feel bad if I leave anybody out.
Mm-hmm. So a nerdy-looking man calls after him. Phil Connors? And apparently he recognizes him from school. He's Ned, played by Stephen Tobolewsky. 295 credits for him, including Momentum, Sneakers, and The Time Traveler's Wife, and 1,000 other things I could name.
43 episodes of Goldbergs.
Yeah.
46 episodes of One Day at a Time. 11 episodes of Heroes.
And he's a really kind of aggravating character here. To Bill, but he plays it very well, and it's funny because seeing him in something like Memento, where he's like it's a dramatic role for him that I hadn't seen him do. And he does a great job in that movie as well. That's a really good Christopher Nolan movie if you haven't seen it. One of his first. Bill doesn't remember him at all. He goes through a bunch of things that should trigger Bill's memory, including the fact that he dated his sister, Mary Pat. He doesn't confirm here whether he has a sister or not.
He mentions his sister another time.
Does he?
Yeah, when he's in the scene where he's saying all the rules that you're supposed to do.
Right.
And he's like, something about don't annoy your sister. Or don't he mentions a sister.
Gotcha. He must not have a very good relationship with
So,
her,
I mean, I'm confident that Ned is not lying about any of this.
Right, yeah.
But I still don't know, and I'm confused by this. Do you think Phil actually recognizes him once he tells him who he is?
No.
Or does he just pretend eventually to be sure, Ned?
I'm pretty sure he's pretending. He doesn't actually remember him at all.
I mean, he obviously doesn't at first.
Right.
But
He's
but
definitely
it's
gonna.
After you hear this whole speech, do you remember this dude that dated your sister? You should have some recollection of him.
Right. I'm gonna guess that after this movie is complete, that he's gonna have no problem remembering Ned.
Yeah, by the end, after 10 years or 10,000 years, either way, he knows all these people pretty well.
So he apparently sells insurance and tries to sell Bill. Bill says he would love to keep talking to him, but he's not going to. Ned continues to try to sell him, invites him to dinner. Bill says he's doing something else and attempts to escape the man before he steps into a big puddle of ice water. And Ned says laughing, "Watch out for that first step. It's a doozy."
And that's one of the most classic lines from this film.
There are a lot of quotable lines in this movie.
Oh, there are so many, but that's a great one.
Yeah.
I have a couple of trivia facts from this scene, or from the Ned scenes, but we'll put them here. So there's a store in the background called Lloyd's.
Yeah.
That you see during all of the Ned Ryerson scenes. And this store actually tried to sue production for several $1,000s of lost business when they had this corner blocked off for production.
Okay.
They were not successful in that lawsuit. The other thing is that while filming the Ned scene, and I don't know which one, but I'm sure this was multiple days, right? Because they'd encounter him a bunch of times. But Bill Murray noticed hundreds of spectators who were viewing the activities. So he went into the nearby bakery, ordered 500 Danishes, paid for them himself, and then him and Stephen distributed them to all the onlookers.
Aw, see, Bill Murray's not always a bad guy.
Yeah, I mean, if that's a true story or not, I don't know. But it sounds fun.
I think I remember reading that, too. I think I looked at the same trivia that you did at one point. So Bill's annoyed and keeps walking, and he gets the festival.
He gets the Gobbler's Knob!
Gobbler's Knob. And excited Rita asks him where he's been. And he says, a giant leech Ned, and he's referring to Ned, got him. And Rita is excited by the festival. Bill is unmoved because he's a grouch. Bill asks about his camera, if it slept okay without him, and she tells him that he's incredible, and she does not mean this. She's being very sarcastic.
Yeah, she means you're ridiculous.
Right.
Incredible.
Right. And says it's Groundhog time. He introduced Punxsutawney Phil, the world's most famous weatherman, and he asked the question,
does Phil
feel lucky? And then the ceremony begins. Bill narrates the proceedings, calling the Groundhog Day a rat. All right, so you're not going to use the audio for any of this?
Yeah, that's confusing to me because they're filming it, right? And don't you want to hear what, the mayor is saying?
Right, yeah. So I was wondering why Phil was still talking and mocking this whole thing when they probably want to use this footage in the audio, but whatever.
He doesn't seem to take any of this very seriously.
No. And then Buster, played by Brian Doyle Murray, brother of Bill Murray, who also appeared in Scrooge, announces that Bill definitely saw his shadow to the boos of the crowd. Brian has 168 credits. He also appeared with Murray in Ghostbusters 2 and was in The Brave Little Toaster Goes to Mars, which also had Stephen Tobolewsky in it.
Okay.
And was the final credit for DeForest Kelley, who played Dr. McCoy in the original Star Trek.
Okay.
So we have a reason to cover The Brave Little Toaster Goes to Mars.
Brian was also in Frosty Returns, which we may cover next year as a sequel to our Frosty coverage.
Yeah.
And he was in National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation.
Oh, okay. Also here, I believe, is the Groundhog official played by Rob Sell. 8 credits for him, including an episode of The Untouchables and Home Alone 2.
Yes. And the Groundhog, of course,
has a
credit. The Groundhog's name is Scooter.
And this was his last credit.
According to IMDb, he was in 6 episodes of something called The Dome.
Yeah.
As himself.
Okay.
I don't know if I believe any of that.
Right.
But that's a thing. During this whole scene, the Gobbler's Knob scene, which of course we're going to see a whole bunch of times, they're playing the song The Pennsylvania Polka.
Yes.
Which I imagine all of... So this is the scene that has, like, all the background actors,
Yep,
right? There's
yep.
hundreds of people here. I imagine they got really tired of hearing that song by the end of filming.
I'm sure.
Can you imagine just listening to that song day in and day out while they filmed all of these scenes that happened here?
You would go insane, kind of like Bill Murray does in this movie at times.
And so pre-captions,
Yeah.
like before recent history, I always thought what they were singing was, "We'll have a day of polka."
Okay.
But it's the Pennsylvania polka.
Gotcha.
And it's funny because my husband said the exact same thing. He always thought the line was, "We'll have a day of polka."
Mm-hmm.
Did you know that it was the Pennsylvania polka?
I was not aware of that, no. Other than the fact that it appeared on the X-Ray for Prime, which is what I watched this on.
Okay.
So it did mention that.
Oh, that probably helped you with your
Yeah,
people note-taking.
it did.
I had to, sift through them.
I mean, most of this was pretty obvious, but...
There's a few that get a little... Because they were in a weird order on IMDb, these credits.
Yeah.
They were neither in order of appearance nor alphabetical.
Mhm.
Like, some of them were grouped with, like, the scenes they were in together, but then they were in order,
Right.
the scenes.
Mhm. Which is why I actually don't know which one is Rod Sell. I have a feeling I know who he is.
I did the same thing as you. I put him right here. I'm like, he's one of these guys.
Right.
But then later, one gets a line, and that must be him, and that's when the groundhog gets kidnapped.
Right, yeah.
That's got to be the one that talks in that scene. I
That's
would imagine.
that's who I assume was Rod Sell.
Right.
But you think it might be someone else?
No, I'm saying I think that's him
okay.
because
Yeah.
he's the only one of these officials that we actually hear speak.
Right. Yeah. Okay.
Another little tidbit about Gobbler's Knob. So that's where the actual ceremony takes place. But in Punxsutawney, it's not actually in the center of town like it's depicted in the movie.
Okay.
Gobbler's Knob is actually 2 miles outside of Punxsutawney.
Oh,
out in the middle of nowhere.
Oh, interesting.
So you wouldn't be walking there from the center of town.
I was actually kind of curious why any of these people were walking in the first place. Why, like, don't they have cars? Couldn't they drive there?
It's this tiny little town. It's just right there. You go to the green.
all right.
You know?
Yeah.
But that's not how it is in real life.
Mm-hmm.
And then also, I have one uncredited person in this scene, and that's the dude on the stands holding a sign that says Sleet.
Okay.
So there's like 3 different signs. The Sleet dude has a uncredited listing, and that is David the Rock Nelson.
He sounds familiar.
I do not have information about the uncredited people. I just have their names.
Gotcha. All right. So Bill comes back after the ceremony is completed, and it's announced that the groundhog definitely saw its shadow. This is the one time television fails to capture the excitement of a large squirrel predicting the weather, and then says so long. Rita asks him if he'd like to try it again without the sarcasm, and Phil, annoyed, says they got it, and Larry calls Bill a prima donna, not for the last time in this film. They attempt to head back, but they are felled by a snowstorm. Bill asks, "What's going on?" And Larry responds sarcastically, "Oh, I don't know, Phil. Maybe it's that giant blizzard we aren't supposed to get." And they end up in stop-dead traffic, to which Bill doesn't react well to. He gets out of the car to confront the state trooper played by Tom
Milanovich?
That sounds good. 16 credits for him, including Hardball with Keanu Reeves, Rookie of the Year, and an episode of Family Matters. He also has 4 stunt credits as well.
Okay.
The road is being closed, and Bill, despite the evidence, claims the blizzard is supposed to go somewhere else. It's literally blizzarding here.
Right.
And Bill is refusing to accept.
He doesn't even have a coat on.
Right.
He's just...
standing there shivering. The cop tells him he can go back to his car or freeze to death.
He can go back to Punxsutawney.
Oh, yeah. Or stand here and freeze to death.
Yeah, because you're not going on this road.
Right.
It's closed.
And Bill has to think about that for a moment.
So this scene where he's talking to the state trooper, it's filmed on the... I'm going to say this wrong. Amstolz Expressway under the Grand Avenue overpass just outside of downtown Waukegan, Illinois. And you can see the Waukegan Business District in some of the shots.
Yep.
And the same expressway was used for filming the big chase scene in the Blues Brothers.
Oh, okay. Cool. Bill tries to make a phone call on a payphone, and my note says, "What's that?"
So he's in a gas station. This reminds you how
Yeah.
old this is
Yes,
because in order to call, so he's trying to call the station or whatever.
Yeah.
He's probably trying to call. What was his assistant's name?
Kenny?
Kenny. He's
Played
trying to
by
call.
Willie
He's
Garson.
probably trying to call Kenny to tell him he does have to do the 5 o'clock after all.
Right.
But yeah, he can't get a long distance line.
And yeah, he's basically on the phone with somebody and asking
the operator.
Yeah, asking when the long distance lines would be repaired. He's asking if there's like a satellite or something that they could use.
A special line for a celebrity or an emergency.
And he says, "I'm both a celebrity in an emergency," and he basically just gets hung up on. And in the middle of this, he gets hit in the head with a shovel. The man with the shovel is uncredited, but he has a listing. He's played by Douglas Blakesley. Only 4 credits for him, including A League of Their Own, which is a great movie.
So there you go. You did better than me. You've got credits for the unlisted people.
Yeah.
I didn't bother.
Gotcha.
I got their names, but that's the point where I just I can't read any more credits.
Do any more of that?
So there's a theory out there.
Okay.
I don't know if you ever heard this one.
I have not.
There's a theory that him getting hit in the head with a snow shovel
is what causes
the day to repeat.
Oh, okay.
Or how about this? Maybe he gets knocked out and everything is just a dream while he's in a coma.
Oh, okay. I hate that.
None of it
yeah,
happened.
sure. Yeah. that would be a terrible ending. Many say there's some from fans that are like, it's all a dream. No. That's a terrible way to end the series. We've done that before. No, I'm gonna throw things at the TV if you do that. But anyway.
But yeah, that's one thing about this movie is we never get or even explore the idea of why is this happening?
Right.
What caused this time loop?
Right.
Other than, he's a terrible human being and he needs to improve himself.
Right. But there's plenty of terrible human beings out there, so why aren't they all going through Groundhog Day to become better people?
Yeah.
But anyway, Bill at the hotel sits at a bar and is served by a bartender played by John M. Watson Sr., 21 credits for him, including Stranger Than Fiction, which is a Will Ferrell movie that I recently brought up to you because it appeared on Tubby. It's a favorite movie of mine, and now we have an excuse to cover it because we have a connection right here. 5 episodes of Early Edition and The Fugitive.
All right.
So for the first time in the movie, but not the last, he's going to shake his head at Bill. And I'm sorry for John M. Watson. He has the most thankless role in the entire movie. He has to shake his head at least 20 times.
Yeah, and I don't know if does he ever even get a line?
He actually does. He does say something like,
what can I get you?
Yeah, something along those lines.
Yeah, but he doesn't have any substance.
No.
But he's definitely a character that we see a lot.
He died.
And that's the thing with this movie is like I said, every single person,
even
the background extras, they're there over and over and over and over.
Right. He died on September 7th, 2006 at the age of 69. He's soon joined by Rita and Larry. He turns down their dinner invite for the second time. He makes fun of Larry, who's wearing this sweater, and he's like, "Oh, that's very foxy." And he thinks Bill's joke is not very funny. He said he's going to go back to his room, take a hot shower, and read a little Hustler. Okay, that's too much information, Phil. Does he have a Hustler?
I don't think he does.
No.
Because otherwise I think we'd see it at some point in this, day.
Right. Rita says suit himself, and then that's negative in the cold shower, by the way. He yelps and leaps out of the shower, asks Mrs. Lancaster about the hot water, and says, "Oh, there wouldn't be any today."
Yeah, and poor Phil. So he's going to live this day how many times and never ever
have a hot shower.
Get to take a hot shower. I mean, he's going to be self-cleaning,
Right.
But still, hot showers, one of those things that you don't want to live without.
Right.
Especially on a really cold, snowy day.
Yeah.
And he's never going to get to take one for the next how many years.
Mm-hmm. So we cut to the clock turning to 6 a.m. I Got You Babe is playing, and then the same DJs say the same thing as the previous day. He thinks nothing of it. He thinks that they just screwed up.
Yeah, he's like, "Oh, good job, you're playing yesterday's tape."
But then something makes Bill check the window.
Because they announced it's Groundhog Day, and he's like, "Wait a minute, why didn't they cut that off before then?"
Right. And everyone is heading out on the street, and Bill asks, "What the hell?" He leaves the room and encounters Hallway Man, who asks the same questions, and Bill basically ends up assaulting him.
He sounds like a psycho.
Right.
In this moment.
Asking him, what day is it? And the man says, February 2nd. And Bill laughs, saying, "Hey, he thought that was yesterday." And the man laughs uncomfortably as Bill leaves, and the man basically gives him a really terrified look. Bill goes downstairs to encounter Mrs. Lancaster, who asks him if he slept well. And she brings up the blizzard again. He asks about deja vu. She says, "I don't think we have that, but I'll check with the kitchen."
Yeah, she thinks it's food. Mrs. Lancaster's not the brightest.
She's not very smart, but she has a lot of funny lines. As he goes to leave, she again asks if he will be checking out. He says the chances of departure are 80%, and then he drops it to 75%.
Yeah, he's like 75, 80.
He seems less certain now. He leaves, and calls out to a woman who's credited as piano teacher.
Yes.
She will later teach Bill the piano. She's played by Peggy Order, 56 credits for her, including an episode of Star Trek Deep Space Nine, an episode of Wings, and a movie Hero, which appeared on someone else's page in this movie. I just kind of forgot to take note of that, but someone else appeared in that movie Hero as well.
She also was in Baby on Board.
Baby on Board, okay.
You're picking out a lot of the same credits as me,
Yeah.
which is humorous.
Yes. Are we having a Groundhog moment day here?
Well, we're just very in tune with each other.
Yes, yeah.
Which is why we do this together.
Right. Sometimes I'm like, all right, maybe I won't say that because I know Stacey's going to say that, so I'll pick something else, but sometimes I don't end up doing that. So Bill, once again, passes the old man, gets accosted by Ned Ryerson, and he mentions not feeling well, which Ned takes advantage of this to suggest that he should have some life insurance. And he tries to get away, but once again steps into the puddle, and we once again hear the line, watch out for that first step because it's a doozy. So he shows up. Rita's calling to him. He asks her to give him a slap in the face, which Rita happily does for him. And Larry suggests taking care of the other cheek, that he offers to hit him on the other cheek. He takes her aside and says he's having a problem. She asks if he's drunk, and Bill says drunk is more fun. Rita says it's Groundhog time, and Bill says, I knew you were going to say that. Rita says, let's just do this, and then we'll talk.
So he records the Groundhog ceremony for the second time.
Yeah, and it's a very awkward report.
Yeah, understandably, it's a little rocky.
Right.
Because he's like, I don't know what the hell's going on, because I already did this.
Right. And then we see Phil looking around, and then he just kind of ditches his job.
Yeah, he leaves without finishing.
And we don't see any repercussions of this whatsoever, because we just cut back to another cold shower.
It's really unclear, like, how the rest of this afternoon played out.
Right.
So, did they attempt to leave again? Did we do
Right.
the whole, like, the streets closed again thing?
Right.
Or did he just go back and try the shower?
Right.
And just, go to bed? Because we don't catch up with him again after that until 4 a.m.
Right. First we see a phone call where he's asking about the long distance.
Yeah, at 4 a.m.
Yeah. Oh,
so
yeah,
the
4
clock
a.m.
says
Okay.
4 when
Okay.
he's on the phone.
Okay. He's checking in on the long distance lines when they're going to be repaired. He says, well, what if there is no tomorrow? There wasn't one today.
I love that line.
And then he gets hung up on. And as an experiment, Bill breaks a pencil. And then we cut to 6 a.m. in the morning.
So before we move on,
Yep.
The pencil scene. So
Yep.
apparently there was a scene that was shot to go here, which they didn't use. And in this scene, Phil destroys the room. He slashes the pillows, spray paints the walls. He shaves his head. Maybe it wasn't meant to go right here, but it was replaced with the pencil scene anyways, is the end result of this. So he has a total freak out. And then the camera is supposed to pull back from his face to show that his hair and the room are back to normal the next morning. But they had trouble making the dissolving shot match, so the scene was changed to Phil breaking a pencil.
I think this is pretty effective. I think this works better than
I mean,
that
yeah,
scene.
this at least, I'm thinking they maybe would have put that in a later place.
Right.
Like, this
Yeah.
fits really good right here
Yeah.
of him, like, testing the theory.
Mm.
But that would have been fun to see him just, like, totally freak out.
Right. So Bill wakes
6
up.
a.m.
Yeah, 6 a.m. I got you, baby's plane. The pencil is still intact. He basically runs outside. He blows off hallway man and runs past Mrs. Lancaster, makes a gagging sound to the old man, like gah, and pushes Ned away. Runs, does not miss the puddle, but this time then doesn't make fun of him for it. He shows
and
up.
you know what's funny?
Yeah.
And I've always had this problem with this scene, is he's obviously rushing.
That's what I'm about to say.
He's
Yeah.
not hitting the same time cues
Right.
that he did the last 2 days.
And
And
yet-
would have any day that he's getting ready normally.
And Rita is still giving him crap for being late when he should be super
He
early.
shouldn't have hit any of these people.
Oh yeah, that's another problem. with the movie, yeah.
Because he's not at this corner at this moment. He'd have
Right.
been earlier.
Right.
So this one scene doesn't make a lot of sense.
Right.
But it's funny.
Yeah.
But, like, yeah, he wouldn't have run into Hallway Man if he's
Right.
rushing out of his room so quickly.
Right.
He wouldn't have, had the same encounter with Mrs. Lancaster. I mean, I'm sure she's still there, but she'd have been in a different side of the room.
Mhm.
And, he wouldn't have seen Ned in the same spot. And, like, the whole thing, his timeline would have changed if he's rushing so quickly.
And Rita would not have been giving him crap for being late.
Right.
Because he would have
He
shown up
ran
way
here.
earlier. Yeah, basically. And he tells her he doesn't have to work today as he's already done this twice. tells her to meet him at the diner, and then runs off. Yeah, she's basically like, we have work to do. And he's like, no, I don't. I've already done this twice. But, and Larry calls him a prima donna again in confusion.
So then we get our first scene at the diner where
Yes.
we're going to spend a lot of time.
Right? Doris, the waitress, offers him more coffee. She's played by Robin Duke. 58 credits for her, including 27 episodes of My Little Pony, Make Your Mark, 6 episodes of Schitt's Creek, and Multiplicity, which Harold Ramis, of course, also directed.
And a lot of people from this were in
Yep.
Multiplicity as well. She also was on Saturday Night Live.
A waiter drops a tray and gets made fun of by Gus, played by Rick Dokamun. I can't even.
DeCummin,
okay.
maybe?
51 credits for him, including Last Action Hero, Gremlins 2, The New Batch. Hey, we have a new reason to cover that movie.
Which one?
Gremlins 2. We might want to cover the first one first. But. And The Hunt for Red October. He died on June 12th, 2015 at the age of 62.
I failed to actually listen to what credits you just listed for him.
Oh, okay. So, let's see. I threw my page away, but Gremlins 2, The Hunt for Red October, and Last Action Hero.
All right, none of those are the ones I picked.
Okay.
I've got Scary Movie,
Okay.
Encino Man,
Okay.
and Die Hard.
Die Hard, okay. Yeah, which you said Scary Movie. No, Chris Elliott was actually in Scary Movie 2. But, so I was going to say that they were united during that movie, but they did not because they were not in the same movie. But they were in the same series. Bill tells Rita that he's reliving the same day over and over again. Surprise! She doesn't believe him. She suggests that his head should have, what?
He should get his head checked out.
Yeah. If he thinks that she's going to believe a stupid story like that. Gus overhears this conversation and makes fun of him for the fact that he has the same name as the Groundhog. Also laughing is Ralph, played by Rick Overton. 194 credits for him, including Year One, which Ramis also directed. 2 episodes of Lois and Clark: The New Adventures of Superman, and the movie Willow.
He was in 1 episode of Lost.
Oh, yeah.
3 episodes of Charmed. And he played Rufus in Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure TV series, as well as their animated series.
Oh, okay. Cool.
2 different series that they did. He played Rufus in.
Larry says for the first time that they got to get going if they're going to get ahead of the weather. Rita says that they'll talk about this back in Pittsburgh. Bill says that's not happening, and Rita says she thought he said the blizzard wasn't happening. But Phil knows better at this point and says, "Yeah, I know that's what I said."
But we can't go to Pittsburgh because there's a blizzard. Now, one thing about the diner scene I'm going to bring up here. There's so they always have the same table. That's their table, and on the wall behind them is it's called here a bumper sticker. I think it looked more like a sign to me, but it says The Spirit. And I remember when I was watching it, I was like, what is that supposed to be? So I found out what that is. It's actually, The Spirit is the name of the newspaper in Punxsutawney.
Oh, okay.
So that's a very fine little detail that they carried over into including that in the movie.
Yeah.
Because again, this wasn't even filmed in Punxsutawney.
Right. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So Rita says he needs help, and we cut to him being examined by Dr. Harold Ramis.
Yes, he goes to see the neurologist.
Right.
Our cameo by Harold Ramis.
Yes.
We already, of course, talked about him.
By the way, he's gotten a lot of results in a very unrealistic amount of time. There's no way that they would
see him and give him
And so Ramis suggests that he goes see a psychiatrist, and then we cut to a psychiatrist again. It's unrealistic that he would get this appointment, for starters.
Well, I mean, it's a small town. Maybe they're not busy.
I guess this doesn't even have to happen in the same day, the same cycle.
That's true. That's true.
But if it did,
as long as he knows in the morning to call and make an appointment.
Yeah. But,
so the neurologist said nothing's wrong.
Yeah.
If you want a CAT scan, though, you'll have to go to Pittsburgh.
Right.
Because, of course, you can't get to Pittsburgh. Yeah. So that's when he says maybe you need a psychiatrist. So he goes to see a psychiatrist.
He's played by David Pasquesi, 100 credits for him, including an episode of The Conners. That would be the revival of Roseanne. 15 episodes of Beep, and was also in Year One.
He was in an episode of Early Edition and Father of the Bride.
Oh, okay. The psychiatrist suggests after a while of listening to Phil and saying, "Hey, that's an unusual problem," he suggests meeting again tomorrow, which Phil starts hitting himself in the head.
It's a funny scene.
Yeah.
Obviously, you aren't going to get anywhere with, like, meeting a psychiatrist for one session.
Right. At the bowling alley, Phil drinks with Gus and Ralph. I'm kind of curious how that happened. Is this the same time frame? Is this the same cycle where...
Probably not, because we just did all that stuff.
So he drinks with Gus and Ralph, describing making love to a woman and wondering why he couldn't have that day over and over and over again. And Gus is basically like, I see you as a half-empty kind of guy, or whatever he says.
A glass is half empty.
Yeah. So he asks the guys, what would you do if you relived the same day over and over again and nothing you did matters? And Ralph says, well, that pretty much sums it up for me.
Tells you everything you need to know about these guys.
Right. So leaving the bowling alley, Ralph pukes. So Ralph can't drive. And Gus says, friends don't let friends drive.
Yeah, so he takes the keys. Phil's helping Ralph, and he's like, do you want to puke in the car or, before you get in the car? And he's like, both.
Right. And then it becomes pretty clear that Gus also can't drive. So Phil gets behind the wheels. And he gradually realizes that there's no consequences, that he can do whatever he wants. And he responds by going completely nuts, driving crazy, hitting a mailbox.
Yeah.
And Gus is like, hey, if we wanted to hit mailbox, we could let Ralph drive. This ends up attracting the attention of the police. He goes on a long rant about it's the same thing your whole life. They tell you to stand up straight, take it like a man, be nice to your sister.
There you go, sister.
Yes. And oh yeah, don't drive on the railroad tracks. And Gus is like, I happen to agree with that one.
Yeah, I agree with that one too.
Yeah, me too. So
But Phil does it anyways.
Right. Yep, he's driving for a while on the tracks, playing chicken with the train before veering off. Eventually, he crashes. He says, I'm not going to live by their rules anymore. And then he ends up crashing. He pretends to give his order to the cop.
Yeah, he acts like he's in a fast food drive-thru.
Ralph says he wants some flapjacks. The cop is played by Lee Sellers, 45 credits for him, including ER, Early Edition, and The Sopranos.
And 7 episodes of Law & Order.
So, but he ends up basically getting busted and going to jail, and we see him getting locked up. But then he wakes up in bed.
6 a.m.
6 a.m. He's excited for the first time. The day has completely reset. He's not in jail. He goes to Mrs. Lancaster, asks her questions if there's anybody looking for him, anybody with a nightstick or gun. And she's like, oh no, will there be? It's like, apparently not. And
she kisses her.
Yeah. Yeah, and she acts really confused by that. Kind of at the same time, she seems to like it. She's digging it. And
then he asks her to hold his room because he's gonna stay an extra day.
So he tells the old man that he'll catch him tomorrow. Not quite accurate, and then he ends up decking Ned and avoids the puddle.
Yeah, he finally avoids the puddle. He's having a great day. Now, there's something I'm going to bring up here, and it becomes relevant later too, but this is the first time where I'm like, well, so I want to talk about this. Phil's going by the theory that every day he time travels back 24 hours and resets the clock, erasing the events of the prior day. They never happened, right?
Yeah.
But what about if that's not how it works? What if it's more of a multiverse situation?
Okay. So he's basically creating a bunch of
What if the timeline
universes
of each one of these days goes on without him?
Right.
He never stops to think that it's possible that the other people's days don't get reset for them. That they could actually have to live with the consequences of his actions.
So Ned is going to have a black eye.
So, Gus and Ralph just got arrested. And later, he's going to kill himself over and over again. And they're going to have to deal with the fact that he did that.
Yeah.
And, there could be a timeline in existence that moves on every single one of these days.
Wow. The
whole world doesn't literally revolve around him and reset. Just he's resetting.
Gotcha. Yeah, I never thought of that.
I mean, if you want to talk about it being dark, that's where my mind goes, is these characters might actually have to live with all of these things that he does every day.
Oh, that's awesome. All right. So I'm glad I didn't encounter Phil, ever. So...
So we skipped the Groundhog thing this time. We don't see that.
He eats at the diner a ridiculous amount of food. Rita is not impressed.
She's pretty grossed out.
Yeah. Doris offers coffee. The waiter drops the tray. Phil says he doesn't have to worry about anything anymore. Rita is disgusted and basically quotes a poem by Sir Walter Scott.
And he laughs at her.
Yeah. He says, "Oh, you think I'm acting like this because I'm egocentric?" And Rita points out that that's basically his defining characteristic. Larry comes. He's basically looking at the food at the table like, what the heck? And Phil says he's going to stay and eat and says the town is beginning to grow on him. As he's prepared to leave, he decides to pepper Nancy with a bunch of personal questions to get info out of her to hit on her successfully in the next loop. She's played by Marita Garrity, 31 credits for her, including an episode of Law & Order, Sleeping with the Enemy, and Hero. Now, to me, it seems like if he wanted to get a date, he could have just done it right here. Because she wasn't, like, totally repulsed by him.
I don't think he's just trying to get a date. I think
No.
he's literally trying to test his powers.
Gotcha.
He's pulling a Ned Ryerson on her.
Right.
He's doing exactly what Ned did to him, except he's faking it.
Right.
So he's like, well, what's your name? Where'd you go to high school? Who was your 12th grade English teacher? And then the next day, he's like, Nancy Taylor? Don't you remember me?
Yep. And he just randomly leaves her in this scene, confusing her. She's like, hey, what are you doing? I thought we were having a nice conversation here. So he wakes up the next day, finds her at Gobbler's Knob, pretends to be a former classmate, as you just said, using all the info he gained against her. And he says, oh, wait right here. He wakes up. Yeah? Oh, I just read that. Okay. So he gets her into bed, accidentally calls her the wrong name.
He calls her Rita.
Yes, Rita.
Which is very telling of where we're going here.
Yep. As they're fooling around, and he has to convince her that this is serious.
Yeah, he recovers calling her the wrong name by saying he loves her.
Yep.
And asking her to marry him.
So,
why does that work?
Yeah, she must be crazy. She must be insane to accept this proposal in the first place.
Yeah, she's like, she thinks that's awesome that
Right.
he's saying that he's love bombing her. That wasn't
Right.
a thing yet, but oh my goodness, poor Nancy needs to evaluate her life a little bit, I think.
And then he calls her the wrong name again, by the way.
Yeah.
And he's just like, whatever, and they keep making out. Like, that should have been at the end of this whole making out session in the first place. She's been like, no, screw you. But nope, apparently it goes all the way. So we see Phil. He's basically sitting down on a
curb.
Yeah, curb.
Something.
Yeah, and he's watching from afar. He's planned a money heist.
Yeah, so this is his next trick. Is
Yeah.
he memorized the armored car schedule
Yep.
and has figured out how to steal the money. And I gotta imagine this took a bunch of attempts to get it right. He probably got
I'm sure.
arrested a few times.
Maybe even shot.
Well, I don't think he knows that he can't die yet.
Right.
So probably not mortally wounded at least.
Right. Two security guards, Herman and Felix, get out of the truck. Felix is played by Chet Dubowski, 2 credits for him, including, once again, Stranger Than Fiction. Herman is played by C.O. Erickson, only 3 credits for him, including Chinatown, but he has a ton of producing credits and production assistant credits.
Yeah, he was actually the unit production manager on this film.
Gotcha. The heist involves Doris dropping a bunch of quarters and a countdown to basically Phil going over there and lifting the bag and walking away.
Yeah.
And of course that.
And
goes
I'm
up.
curious, does he keep doing that over, does he do that on the good day?
I don't know.
Because he does seem to have a lot of money still.
I'm not sure. So I'm kind of thinking that whatever is responsible for this is not going to let him get away with that. So I'm thinking he probably just had to be good and not do things like commit bank heists.
Where'd he get all that money from then?
I don't know. Well, I mean, he's a weatherman. He's a pretty well off guy.
I guess. I
Yeah.
guess he must have some money, but he felt like he needed this money to get through the day. It's not like he's going to be able to keep it.
I don't think he did that to get through the day. I think he just did it for sport, just because. But, maybe not. So he goes to the movies dressed as a cowboy and his date as a maid, and she's like, I thought we were going to a costume party, but apparently not. And she's played by Sandy Mashmeyer. Only 7 credits for her, including Knight Rider, and Ghoulies Goes to College. And he told her there was a costume party. He's like, Bill, I look ridiculous. Nancy wanders by, and of course she doesn't recognize Bill. And he's like, oh, that's my former fiance. She doesn't even remember me. And he tries to pay for a child's ticket for his
for
date.
Phil's movie date is how she's credited.
But,
she doesn't even get a name, this poor girl.
but she's not going to let him get away with it. And then...
one thing he says, he's like, I've seen this movie over 100 times. And you know what? I believe it.
I'm sure he has.
Because that's the only thing playing in this town. And the movie, by the way, according to the sign, is Heidi 2. Doesn't seem like a great film to go see 100 times. But
No.
that's what he's got in this town.
You know, it doesn't seem like a great movie to even see once, but that's just me. And then we see Rita watching the footage of the Groundhog Day, and Bill has now set his sights on trying to seduce her. All right, so here's my question. At this point, does Bill have feelings for Rita? Are you... Oh, okay. So it's funny because
we both put these notes at the same exact spot in the movie.
Okay, that's funny.
My note says, does he even like her at this point, or
Right.
is it just a conquest?
Right, yeah. That's the question. So that's pretty funny.
Is he just trying to do, like, the next hardest thing?
Right. See, just another challenge where... Because Nancy obviously wasn't a challenge.
Right.
You know, he said the wrong name twice and then proposed, and she went along with it.
Yeah.
So, what do you think?
I don't know. Like, later on, he'll be like, I've loved you since the first moment I saw you.
Which is romantic nonsense. But
is he being a false narrator to
Right.
his own memory? Because this is like 10 years later he says that.
Right, yeah.
You've obviously been in love with her a long time.
Right.
But you even remember how you felt about her back then when she didn't know you?
Right.
Because he kind of didn't seem like he cared about her very much.
Right.
He treated her very poorly in the
Right.
beginning.
So,
I'm not convinced that he actually likes her at all at this point until he
Right.
gets to know her.
So he's just really trying to sleep with her. And
I
that's,
think
that's
so.
all there is to
I
it.
really think so.
All right. So, he asks her, what would you do if you only had one day to live? And what would you do if the world was ending? And she says she'd want to know where to point the camera. And he offers to, he keeps asking her questions, and he offers to buy her coffee to get to know her better. And she's thinking, you know, what's the angle here? Like, are you just trying to make me, like, out to be a fool? Like, he doesn't believe in his sincerity. And at this point, neither do we. We're not totally sure that he's being sincere here. So, at the diner, she says she wants a career, love, and children. He asks, what does she want in a guy? And she says, someone who's too humble to know he's perfect, intelligent, supportive, funny, romantic, courageous, with a good body, but not full of himself. And in each of these instances, Bill's like, oh yeah, that's me, that's me, that's me. And he says, kind, gentle, not afraid to cry in front of her. And to that he responds, we're talking about a man, right? And Bill becomes increasingly skeptical as she goes along. Likes animals, children, will change poopy diapers. And he's like, do you have to actually call it poopy diapers? And plays an instrument, which is interesting because that gives him motivation to go and learn an instrument.
Eventually,
yeah.
he'll do that.
And loves his mom. And he's like, oh, I'm really close here.
Yeah, he's
Just
not.
Not even close.
He's not a little bit close.
So we next see Phil sabotaging the work vehicle, which is, why is this necessary?
So he rips something out of the van so that it won't... I assume what's happening here is he wants to avoid having to drive out of town and getting stopped by the state trooper and being told the road's closed.
Well, why not just say, like, let's just stay here?
Exactly. That's what I have, is Rita wanted to stay anyways to cover the rest of the events of the weekend.
Right.
So why isn't he just like, hey, why don't we stay another day? They would have agreed to it.
Mm-hmm.
It seems totally ridiculous, but in his mind, you know, he has to be pulling some kind of scheme, I guess.
Right. Yeah.
So he's like just sabotaging it. And poor Larry, who's going to spend how many freaking days trying to fix the van every time he does this.
Yeah, poor Larry in this timeline. You know, this goes on and he's never able to fix that van.
Right. But every day that he did this, because I assume he did this a lot of his time.
Yeah.
We see a fan on street here.
Yes.
Did you catch her?
I did. I didn't get her credits.
This is her only credit.
Yeah.
Okay. Leanne O'Neill played fan on street. So somebody recognizes him, which I'm not sure why we needed that. But somebody recognized him and was excited to see him while he's vandalizing the van.
Okay. He joins Rita at the bar. He orders a drink. And then the bartender, played by that John Watson guy, asks her what her drink is. And Bill takes note of the drink. And in the next swoop, Bill says the same drink.
Yeah, which is sweet vermouth on the rocks with a twist.
I don't know why that's necessary, but okay. Why he needs to order the exact same drink.
He's trying... Okay, so his whole shtick for the next however much of this movie is basically to make her think that she loves him.
Right.
He wants her to think that he is exactly who he's not.
Right.
He wants to be like this perfect person to her and make her go, "Oh wow, you're like perfect and you're just like me," and it's like, you know, serendipitous, right? Wow, you like the same drink as me and all of these things.
Yeah, and then
that's his plan.
Yeah. Then he drinks the Groundhog, but she wants to drink the world peace, so that's what he does in the next loop. And the bartender shakes his head. So he passes this level and goes on to dinner.
You know, I never thought of this, but wouldn't this be a fun little twist if the bartender actually is aware of all the days?
Oh, that would be really cool.
You know, if he's like Al the bartender from Quantum Leap and is actually like behind it all.
Yeah.
And like is witnessing all of this.
Hey, you know what? I am going to make that, I'm going to fan wink that into existence.
That was I just had that thought, but that would be a perfect person, I think.
That's why he's shaking his head, because he's watched this so many times. So, next is dinner. He warns she doesn't like white chocolate. He ends up
But she loves the fudge, she
Right.
says in
Right.
the scene when they're eating fudge.
And he ends up making fun of her when he mentions she mentions that she studied French poetry. In the next loop, he's quoting French poetry, which I'm assuming this happened like
it would have taken
long
some time.
Yeah.
So in other words, they relive this date over
Yeah.
and over and over again, and he
Right.
gets a little better each
Yeah.
time as far as like what he thinks she wants.
It's funny because this is an awful lot of effort to go through this just to sleep with somebody.
Right.
That's
But also, I think it's during this that he really does start to
Mm.
get to know her and
Right.
start to have feelings for
Right.
her. Because they're spending an awful lot of time together.
Right. So they move on to making a snowman, and soon they're attacked by kids and engage in a snowball fight, which ends up with them cuddling in the snow.
And this is another great musical number.
Yep. Ray Charles.
You Don't Know Me.
Yes.
Love that song.
Mhm.
It was featured in My Best Friend's Wedding,
Mm.
which is actually in one of these people's IMDb's.
Yes, I mentioned it at one point.
Did you mention it already?
did.
It's here somewhere. I've always listed that as my favorite movie. You know, when
Mm.
you have to say what your favorite movie is. I
Yeah.
don't know if that's necessarily true anymore, but it was always the one I listed. My Best
Gotcha.
Friend's Wedding.
Okay. Yeah, that was a I can't remember her name all of a sudden. Julia Roberts.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. So back to the hotel. Oh, actually, first they're dancing on the patio.
They
to Ray
dance, they
Charles.
almost kiss, but
Yep.
they don't.
Yep.
She walks him home.
Rita is clearly now into him. He invites her up, but she's hesitant. But he ends up convincing her, like, "Oh, I don't think I should," and he's like, "Oh, I don't think you should either," and that's why I'm going to show you this one thing and kick you right out. Bill tries really hard to seduce her, and eventually ends up screwing up to the point where she gets mad at him and slaps him in the face.
Yeah, I mean, they eventually do kiss.
Yeah.
He gets very pushy, though.
Yeah.
Because obviously, he doesn't want her to leave, because then that's the end of it.
Right.
Right? And she's just like, this is going too fast. Like, we can hang out tomorrow. And he's like, no, right now.
Right. And he's basically like, oh, no, I love you. And like,
Exactly.
She's like,
He does the same thing to her that he did to Nancy.
Right,
Of course, it's not going to work
Right.
on Rita. As
Rita
soon as
is
he
a very
said,
different person.
I love you, she's like, excuse me, what?
Right.
Like, you don't even know me.
Right.
And she realizes this whole day has been a setup, and that's when she slaps him. And this is where she admits she hates fudge.
Right.
So he adds that to his list, which she notices he's keeping a mental list of things about her.
Right.
Of course, she has no idea how bad it really is.
Right.
Like, can you imagine if she actually knew,
The truth.
like,
Yeah.
everything that he's done to her?
I don't imagine the movie would end with them waking up and living happily ever after. So the next time through, he's trying to recapture the magic, but he's forcing everything.
Yeah, we see many
Yeah.
iterations of this day.
Yeah.
They all end with him getting slapped at various different points.
Because
in the evening.
it's no longer spontaneous.
Right.
It doesn't happen
It gets
naturally.
worse.
So every single time he's forcing the same thing to happen over and again, but it's obvious because it's not spontaneous. He's not
he's
relaxed.
acting.
Yes, exactly.
And he's not an actor, he's a weatherman.
And she sees straight through it.
Yeah, so, like, some of the points, he gets slapped much earlier in the
Right.
evening.
Yeah.
And my note here is that if it was a conquest before, I think at this point he spent so much time with her that he really does love her now.
Mm.
But all he's done so far is pretend to be somebody that she would like instead of actually becoming a better person.
Right. So Bill arrives to the Groundhog ceremony. And she's like, "Oh, Bill, where have you been?" She's not aware of anything that's taken place.
You skipped a scene.
Did I?
You skipped
yeah.
an important scene because we have
Right.
3 new people we get to introduce.
Okay. Which scene did I skip?
He watches Jeopardy.
Oh, yeah. Wow. I can't believe I did not make note of that at all.
So he sits in the living room of the bed and breakfast, and he amazes everyone that he knows
Oh.
all of the answers.
I did make note of that, but I made note of it later. Weird. Okay,
Oh,
anyway.
this is where I have it.
Okay.
Before he goes to the Groundhog ceremony again.
Okay.
So, we have 3 Jeopardy viewers.
Okay.
Okay, so we have, and this is the only credit for all of them. We have Evangeline Binkley, Samuel Mages, and Ben Zwick.
Okay.
They're the Jeopardy viewers. They're a bunch of old people hanging around watching Jeopardy.
Yep.
Not going to the Groundhog Festival party that, we know now is happening every single day. Why are we not ever there?
Yeah.
There's this amazing big event happening. We never go there until the last day.
It's not even that we don't go there, but we barely even mention it. Like
we know that Rita and Larry have gone there.
Right.
In some of the times.
Yeah.
But yeah, we never see it until the final, which is kind of weird that we never see it at all.
Right.
Anyways, the Jeopardy sequence. So one of the players they show on the screen is Jim Scott. He's a 5-time Jeopardy champion. He won his 5th game October 1st, 1990, and went on to win the Tournament of Champions contest that season.
Gotcha.
The segment that we're being shown is actually from the Tournament of Champions semifinal, which was broadcast November 11th, 1991.
Oh, okay.
So a little bit earlier than this scene was supposed to be taking place. But it was actual Jeopardy coverage.
Yeah. So
then we have the morning you were getting to. He feels defeated. He's entered this new phase of depression because he's ready to give up on Rita finally.
And she asks, "Oh, did you have a rough night?" And he just says, "Yep." And then we see him in bed, waking up the next morning, despondent, and he's quoting the radio DJs, though we're not hearing the radio DJs at this point. This is when I had the Jeopardy scene, but I guess I probably screwed that up. His next broadcast is him just angry ranting. And he says, "If you want a prediction about the weather, you're asking the wrong Bill. It's going to be cold, it's going to be gray, and it's going to last the rest of your life." Well, that would be a pretty sad scenario.
Yeah.
And then we see a montage of him destroying the alarm clock over and over and over again.
I think it was this scene that cold gray. It was during that speech that he says the Groundhog Day used to mean something. They used to hunt the animal down and eat it in this town.
Yeah.
And it wasn't what it is today. This is actually actual history.
Oh yeah.
So again, this is according to, I haven't researched any of this, but according to one of the trivia notes on IMDb, is that this line is actually based on the fact the origins of Groundhog Day. In the 1880s, friends from Punxsutawney, Pennsylvania went into the woods on what was known as Candlemas Day to look for groundhogs. And it became a tradition. The local newspaper editor nicknamed the seers the Punxsutawney Groundhog Club. And starting in 1887, the search became an official event centered on a groundhog called Punxsutawney Phil. And this led to the ceremony that takes place now.
Oh.
The ceremony was originally hunting groundhogs.
So yeah, we have the montage of him destroying the alarm clock, and then we see another ranting broadcast. This time, Bill is suggesting that the only way this will ever end is if the groundhog stops seeing his shadow, and he's basically like, I gotta stop it.
He says he's got to be stopped.
And I gotta,
it's not a terrible hypothesis.
Right, definitely worth testing.
The groundhog sees a shadow every day, so 6 more weeks of winter.
Yeah, Larry tells him, "Oh, that was great, Bill," but he's really he thinks that Bill has lost his mind, and he's not wrong. Rita expresses worry to Larry. He says, "I think there's something wrong with Bill." And then Larry's like, "There's a lot of things really wrong with Bill." Bill approaches Rita and says he's come to the end. He just wants her to remember that they had a beautiful day together once, and gives her a kiss. And then he walks over to the ground truck, and we see Rita in the background, kind of out of focus, watching him go to the truck. And he basically, I'm pretty sure he's approached by the official played by Rod Sell.
Yeah.
And he says, "Oh, is there something I could do for you?" And then he gets into the truck,
that has the groundhog in it.
Right. And, the official starts yelling at him and says, "Hey, what are you doing?" He gets into the truck and starts driving away. And this leads to a chase. He's being pursued with Larry and Rita in one vehicle, the cops, and, of course, Buster and Rod Sell's character. He rides with the groundhog on his lap.
The groundhog's operating the steering wheel.
Right. He's like, "Oh, don't drive angry."
Which I read that was ad-libbed.
I'm sure it was.
Because the groundhog was trying to climb over the steering wheel. The scene filming didn't go well, from what I read.
I can imagine it wouldn't. I wouldn't imagine a groundhog would be that cooperative.
Bill Murray was actually bitten twice during filming.
Oh, yeah, I heard that. Yeah.
And it was pretty serious, I guess, where he needed
really?
medical attention.
Oh, God. So, yeah, he had a rough time in this film. So eventually he goes into a quarry.
Through a locked gate that
Right.
they drive through.
And he goes off into this little area. Buster thinks they have him cornered because there's no way out. He tells the cop to aim high so he doesn't hit the groundhog, which disgusts and worries Rita. Larry has his camera out as Bill comes slowly out from behind the dirt pile in the truck. And Larry asks, "What is he doing?" And Rita's like, "I don't know." And she's clearly freaked the hell out. Obviously you would if your coworker went completely nuts like this. But Bill tells the groundhog in this really sad line delivery. It's goofy, but really sad at the same time, that they mustn't keep the public waiting. And starts driving towards them fast. And everybody's freaking out because Bill is basically driving right at them. And he says in the truck, "All right, Larry, on me in 3, 2, 1, and then drives off the cliff. A very large cliff. Like the
quarry.
The quarry is like pretty far down.
Yeah.
The truck lands upside down. They all rush there, and Larry tries to comfort Rita by saying, "Oh, he might be okay.
He might be okay."
No, Phil is dead. The groundhog is dead. There is no way anybody would survive that fall.
Well, I'm sure there's some chance of survival.
A very small one.
A very small one, but I'm sure there's some chance.
Yeah, I don't think so, though. And then the truck explodes, and Larry says, yeah,
probably not.
He still ends up waking up at 6 a.m. in the morning, and he's not happy about it.
Yeah, he's alive. Even death cannot make him escape this day. But he keeps trying to kill himself regardless.
This is a little dark section in the film where he's pretty much continuously
This is the death montage.
Right. He grabs a toaster for Mrs. Lancaster, goes up to the tub, and sits in the tub, flips the toaster, and then we see...
Takes a bath with the toaster.
Right. And then we see downstairs the lights are flickering.
And Mrs. Lancaster's horrified reaction, realizing what just happened. You think she'd have maybe stopped him from taking the toaster upstairs.
Right. And then we see him stepping in front of a truck. He dies there. And then we see him standing on a ledge on a building.
Mm-hmm.
And this really dark, foreboding music plays. And I was like, this moment really got to me. Like, when I was originally watching this, like, wow, this is really sad. And then he basically plummets to his death.
Yes.
Larry and Rita have to identify the body.
Which is not good. Not good for them if they live on in a multiverse, by the way.
Yes, exactly. I don't think this is from when he dropped off a building because he looks too intact.
I mean, this is just like probably every time they had to identify his body.
Rita's basically crying. Larry claims to have really liked Bill. He was a really great guy.
In what universe?
Right. Not this one. And then he kind of like indicates, okay, you can cover him up again.
So I have a tidbit about that building.
Okay.
The high building. So he throws himself from the bell tower. This building is actually an opera house in Woodstock, Illinois. And local legend has it that the ghost of a young girl haunts the building who once fell off of the balcony section inside and died.
Oh, okay. Interesting. So in the diner, he claims Rita that he's a god because of all the times he's died, all the ways in which he died, and the conversation is overheard by Doris.
Yeah, he says, I'm not the god, I'm a god. And he names a lot of things we didn't see.
Right.
He says he was stabbed, shot, poisoned, frozen, hung, electrocuted, and burned. And he's immortal.
Yeah. So Rita doesn't believe him. So he ends up basically getting up and saying Doris, and gives her the rundown on everything that she knows about Doris. Then he talks to Debbie and Fred, who's supposed to get married that day, but Debbie is having second thoughts, and apparently this is news to Fred.
Yeah.
Fred is played by Michael Shannon. 111 credits for him, including Man of Steel, 8 Mile, and 99 Homes. And you know, this movie features his most animated performance. Like, I don't think I've seen him in anything else where he was this animated. And he's really, really young in this movie. Like,
I'm not familiar with him.
No?
He was also in 8 episodes of 9 Perfect Strangers. I tried watching that show. I didn't get very far.
Perfect Strangers?
9 Perfect Strangers.
Oh,
it's like
no.
from just a couple of years ago.
Okay.
I watched like 1 episode. I couldn't handle it. He was in The Shape of Water. He was in 2 episodes of Early Edition.
And Debbie is played by Hayden Walsh. 151 credits for her and lots of voice work.
Lots of voice work.
But she was also in Jerry Maguire. You said that you thought you recognized her. Did you figure that out?
So yeah, watching, I was like, I know her from somewhere besides this. I didn't figure that out. I probably just know her from this.
Right.
Because I've seen it a million times.
Right.
But I don't know. It's like you look at somebody and you think you know them from
Right.
something else.
Yeah.
I probably have seen her in something else, but I didn't figure it out. As far as a voice actress, she has a couple really big roles.
Okay.
She is Starfire on Teen Titans.
Yes. Which
And-
my daughter watches.
And she's Princess Bubblegum on Adventure Time.
Okay.
2 very big roles for her that she's got numerous credits for because, you know, cartoon franchises have so many different things that they do. But one thing I found really interesting on her, so Hynden Walsh is her name, but it says she's credited as a different name. Now, usually IMDb will be like credited as, and then it'll say the variation of their name.
Yeah.
It doesn't tell us what she was actually credited as.
Oh.
On
okay.
IMDb. It just says credited as different name.
That's
which I
weird.
thought was weird. And, you know, I meant to actually look in the credits when I got to the end to see what she was credited as that IMDb doesn't want to tell us, but I forgot to do that, so I'm not sure.
Gotcha.
But in the actual credits would be a different name than Hynden Walsh, apparently.
Okay. So then he talks to Bill, and he runs down some things about him, and then concludes with he's gay. And he's basically like, yeah, I am.
Yeah.
And he's played by Timothy Hendrickson. 4 credits for him, including The Untouchables and A Road to Perdition. And which is interesting because that's similarly, those are 2 similarly themed credits because Road to Perdition is also kind of a mobster kind of film.
Okay.
Then he talks to Gus and goes through his his
he wishes
biography.
he stayed in the Navy.
Yep. Rita is freaking out.
And he talked to someone named Tom who worked in the coal mines until they shut it down. No credit for Tom because he doesn't actually talk.
Right. And Rita is basically freaking out at this point. Like, why are you doing this? How are you doing this? And then he briefly talks to Alice, played by Martha Webster. 6 credits for her. I didn't take any credit.
One was a 2004 movie called Bad Meat.
Bad Meat. And then to Nancy briefly, and it's basically like she makes
chipmunk noises when she gets really excited.
Which she is not thrilled about.
She's like, what?
And after predicting a tray falling, Rita's had enough. So she ends up sitting him down and asks, well, what do you know about her?
And it's funny. They sit at a table that's not their table. They sit at some other random table that has people's food at it. Like the people that just left, like there's a tip on the table.
Yeah.
And they're just like, we're going to sit here and talk.
And then he proceeds to lay out everything that he knows about her. And he talks like a man that's very much in love with her. And that, and then writes a note as he's talking and says, in 5 seconds, Larry's going to take her away from him. And he says, you can't let him do that. And on cue, Larry arrives and says, we got to get going if we're going to stay ahead of the weather, which is what Bill wrote on the piece of paper, which finally convinces Rita of the truth of what he's saying.
Yeah, so she's starting to believe him.
Right.
And she decides she needs to spend the rest of the day with him to observe.
And they spend that time throwing cards in a hat. Phil says that she could be an expert in 6 months, which is, I'm assuming, how long it took him to do it.
Says 4 to 5 hours a day for 6 months, and he'll be an expert.
And he's like, is this what you do with eternity? And he says, oh, now you know. Phil thinks that the worst part is tomorrow he'll wake up, and she will still think that he's a jerk. She denies it, but he says, it's all right. I am a jerk. He doesn't think it matters. He's died so many times, he doesn't exist anymore. She thinks she wishes she could have 1,000 lives, and maybe this is not a curse. And Bill jokes, gosh, you're an upbeat lady.
And they're getting a little close.
Yeah,
she hugs him. She's kind of cuddling up with him. And she's basically saying goodbye to him.
Right.
Because she's watching the clock.
Yep.
Over his shoulder. And the clock turns to midnight.
Right. And basically she thinks that this is when it's going to reset. But it doesn't. She's like, wait, aren't you supposed to disappear, or I am, or something? And Phil says, no, not in midnight, 6 a.m. And she goes, oh, you rat, you knew I was waiting for midnight. And she's like, oh, does that mean you're going to leave? And she says, no, I'll stick around.
You know what's really funny about this movie is we're like literally like just quoting it to talk about it.
Yeah.
Because we know these quotes so well.
Right. I didn't even need to put that in my notes for sure. But, it's funny. At this point, before he was being really pushy and trying to sleep with her. Now he's not trying to do that at all.
Right.
Right. And he could, probably.
He just doesn't want her to leave. He wants to spend every minute with her that he can.
So, 3 a.m., she's drowsy. Bill says she can go to sleep. He won't touch her much.
He's reading her poetry.
Right. And he ends up confessing his feelings for her.
He bears his soul to her.
Yeah. He thinks she's the kindest, sweetest, prettiest person ever. He admits the first time he saw her, something happened to him, that he wanted to hold her. He says he doesn't deserve someone like her, but if he ever could, he would love her for the rest of his life. And she wakes up and says, did you say something? Which is awful.
She was sleeping. She didn't hear him.
I'm not blaming her for it, but you bare your soul to them and they go, what did you say?
It wouldn't have mattered anyways.
I know.
Because she's not going to remember it.
But it's a terrible feeling for you to bare your soul, admit your feelings and say all these things you wouldn't say ever. Some things that are really hard to say.
Yeah.
And then have them go, what did you say? But anyway, Phil says goodnight. 6 a.m. she's gone.
Yeah, he wakes up the same as he does every day. And you know what? We never have actually seen him stay awake through 6 a.m.
Right. Yeah.
What does that look like if you don't go to sleep and you're awake at 5:59 and then you wake up in bed?
Right.
That's got to be trippy.
Yeah, I can imagine.
And we never saw that scene. And I'm thinking maybe that's what they had in mind when I was reading about the scene they filmed about him totally freaking out and cutting his hair and then the camera pans back to show it back to normal.
Yeah.
I'm assuming that was a 6 a.m. transition they were trying to film.
I can imagine that would be visually very hard to execute.
Right, because he has to wake up in bed, identical to how he left.
Mm-hmm. And it'd be kind of like a jump cut, really, it'd be hard to pull off.
Yeah. But I would have liked to have seen him, attempting to not go to sleep.
Right.
Is that all you have to do is just be awake at 6 a.m.?
I don't know. But despite the fact that she's gone, he now seems re-energized.
Yeah, he had a great day.
Yeah.
Now, this whole idea of Phil reading to Rita as she went to sleep, that actually came from Bill Murray.
Oh, yeah?
Based on his own honeymoon. So his wife drank too much champagne on their wedding night, fell asleep early, so he read aloud to her until he fell asleep too. Is how the story goes.
Is this the wife that he was divorcing at this
time? I don't know,
time?
Probably.
Because that's pretty sad. So, all right. He's energized. He gives the money. He gives the old man all of his money.
All of his money. He's like, here, just take all of it.
Right. And the old man reacts happily. He brings coffee and pastries to Rita and Larry and has a suggestion about where to set up. He helps move the equipment and asks Larry if he has any kids, trying to get to know the man. And it's pretty funny that I don't know how many days he's experienced at this point, but he hasn't tried to get to know Larry at all.
Right. And the thing is, Larry's just Larry's taken for granted, and he knows he takes Larry for granted. And in this scene, he's like, what do you think, Larry?
Right. Yeah.
Giving him some agency.
Yeah.
For the first time ever.
Right. So he, at the diner, he hears some music, and that gives him an idea to learn the piano. He gives her a bunch of money to kick the kid out.
Piano teacher. He goes to her house.
Yep. He basically has the kid kicked out. The kid is played by Angela Golan. 16 credits for her, including House of Cards.
1 episode.
Yep. He runs into Hallway Man and kisses him on the cheek, quoting poetry, which makes his day. He seems really happy by this situation.
Yeah, he raised the spirits of Hallway Man for that day.
And, it wasn't like he was in bad spirits to start with. So we have more lessons. And in between these lessons, we see him learning to ice sculpt.
Yeah, he sculpts ice sculptures. I have a tidbit about that. So the ice sculptures featured in this movie was actually carved by Randy Rupert, who's a.k.a. the Chainsaw Wizard. And he's actually from Punxsutawney. He has a shop downtown, and he can be found every Groundhog Day carving and selling wooden sculptures.
Oh, okay. And something I forgot to mention, it was in my notes, but I got distracted by something. Basically, during the times where he's getting slapped repeatedly by Rita, and he during the last time, he walks by a bunch of ice sculptures.
Right.
And he takes note of them. Rita happens upon him, ice sculpting, and where he's like, "Did you know he could do that?" And we see more lessons, piano lessons.
He's getting better.
He is, and which he attributes to his father being a piano whooper. And I have to ask at this point, at what point does the piano teacher go, "What did you do this for?" You don't need lessons. You clearly are an expert.
Right.
But apparently she never does.
But also he continues to get lessons every day.
Right.
Even though he's literally better than her.
Right. Yeah.
I think he just likes hanging out with her eventually.
And what's really funny is that I'm pretty sure he gets lessons from her on the actual day that counts.
Right.
Which means he still kicks the kid out. He still gets the kid kicked out of lessons.
On the good day.
Yeah. So she's still sad somewhere, running away. Anyway.
Poor girl.
Yeah. So he runs into Ned, and he starts hitting on him.
Yeah, he's overly friendly with Ned.
He's, I don't know where you're going, but it's time for me.
I don't know where you're headed, but can you call in sick? Is a line that was actually also ad-libbed by Bill Murray.
Okay. And basically, Ned ends up running away.
Yeah, he's got very uncomfortable and leaves. The only time that Ned's not trying to sell insurance.
Right. Late at night, he happens upon the old man who's struggling. He helps him to the hospital, but at the hospital he dies, and a nurse ends up telling him. Bill wants to know what
our nurse is played by Diane B. Shaw.
Yep,
you have her?
I do. 18 credits for her, including Home Alone.
Home Alone, yes, that's what I got.
Okay. So, the nurse tells him that the old man died. Bill wants to know what he died of and insists on seeing his chart. The nurse is like, "Hey, he was just old. He died."
Yeah, people just die.
Yeah.
He's like, "Not today, they don't."
Right.
But come to realization that this old man has died every one of your days.
Right, yeah. So he tries and fails to save him every single time.
Right, so he encounters him in the morning and brings him to the diner and buys him soup. But every day he still dies, which is really sad.
Yeah.
So what happened to this old man in the good day, the final day? Do we just ignore him at that point again?
I mean, maybe Phil gave him some money. I don't know. But, clearly he's going to die.
He's going to die, right.
That's just his fate.
So is he dead in the alley while you're having this perfect day at the festival?
I don't think he dies in the alley. Well, actually, I don't know where he
finds
dies.
him dead in the alley at one of these times.
Maybe he ends up taking him to the hospital so he can die comfortably, or
maybe.
Who knows? I don't know. We don't ever really address that.
Yeah, we don't go back to that scene again.
Right. So we see Phil give his report.
An amazing one this time. Leaves everybody in awe. All the reporters are reporting him.
Everybody's gathering around him. He's speaking poetically.
Rita's impressed.
Yeah, about not being able to imagine a better fate than a long and illustrious winter. I don't even know if that's the right word, but Rita's impressed. I have that as my literal note. She wants to get a cup of coffee.
Yeah, so this time, instead of him asking her if he can buy a cup of coffee, for the first time, she's asking him, "Hey, you want to get a cup of coffee?"
So we are in the final stretch here.
Yes,
this is the final day.
This is the final day. But I imagine there had to have been a lot of variations of this day before the day that we see.
Right. So he says he's got errands to run. And she's like, "What errands? I thought we were going back to Pittsburgh."
And this right here, this moment shows really his growth.
Mm-hmm.
Because she's finally come around and she wants to have coffee.
Right.
And he blows her off.
Right.
Because all of these errands are more important to him at this point in time.
So, which includes saving a boy from a tree.
Boy and tree.
I thought I took note of him, but I guess I didn't.
He's played by Sean. This is a name I'm not going to say right. Sean Chayabot.
Right.
There's a lot of letters in there.
Basically his only credit.
This is his only credit. But I do have a note that apparently he went on to become a local television news reporter.
Oh, interesting. Okay. That's pretty cool.
Pretty cool.
So, and then the next thing we see is a bunch of ladies in a car with a flat tire. And we start seeing it bump up and down, and it's because Phil has a jack, and he's
he's like, I had the tire in the jack anyway.
Right. So he's fixing your tire. Okay, so if you're jacking up your car, are people supposed to stay in the car?
Probably not.
Right. I don't think this is a safe situation.
Well, I mean, it worked out okay.
And I'm sure you got the old ladies.
And they think he must be from the motor pool.
Yeah.
So flat tire ladies, we have Barbara Ann Grimes, who was in 2 episodes of Fame. We have Anne Heekin. Her only other credit was a 1995 movie called Roommates.
Okay.
And we have Lucina Paquette, who was in my best friend's wedding. There we go.
Okay. I'm not sure which of those ladies is actually the one that we see at the end.
I don't know which one's which, but
yeah.
those are them.
So, and then we see him walking into a restaurant.
The German restaurant. This is where he had dinner with Rita all those times. Now, when you and I were watching this movie together last week, my question was, how come when he was there with Rita, he never saw this scene taking place? I mean, maybe it was just a different time of day.
Right, possibly. So, yeah, he's coming in. Buster is choking, and he comes in to save Buster. And did you take note of his children and wife in the scene?
Yes, I did. Okay, so in this scene with them is Buster's wife.
Yep.
She's played by Brenda Pickleman.
Yep.
She was in the movie Save the Last Dance.
Mm-hmm.
Buster's daughter is played by Amy Murdoch. This is her only credit. And Buster's son is played by Eric Sayet. Probably saying that wrong. He's in an episode of Scrubs.
Oh, okay.
And an episode of Roswell.
Gotcha, okay.
And, so Buster's choking. Phil conducts the Heimlich maneuver and saves him.
Yep.
I have a question.
Okay.
Is Buster supposed to die if he doesn't say, come do this?
Right. Yeah, I mean, did he die in all these other timelines?
What happened with Buster if
Right.
he's not there to save him?
I mean, clearly, I
Or
would
does
hope,
he end up in the hospital?
I would hope someone else would know.
It
how to
didn't
do
look
this.
like anybody else was, like, stepping up to save him.
Right.
I mean, the wife, I forget what she said, but she said something. Oh, she was like, he's having a stroke. No, he's
Right.
not. He's choking.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not sure. We don't really address that. But
Maybe that's why we never, like, went to the festival, the party before, because,
Right.
like, the
You
leader
got-
of the guy, the dude died. So we never had the party before.
Right.
We were like, well, maybe we shouldn't celebrate now.
Right.
Because, Buster Green, the main head honcho dude, died.
Right. Maybe.
Choking on his dinner.
On his way out, he lights a cigarette for a woman. I'm assuming you got her
A
credit
woman
as well.
with cigarette is Lindsay Reincht. So her name's Lindsay Albert. Lindsay Albert, credited as Lindsay Reincht. She has three total credits, including the 2000 movie Bedazzled.
Ah, yes, which I believe Harold Ramis was also involved with, and that's a Brendan Fraser movie.
Okay.
Yep.
What a web we have.
Yeah, yeah. And we actually covered something that Brendan Fraser was in when we did Son-in-Law. So Larry tries to hit on Nancy.
Yeah, he's getting a drink with her at the hotel bar. She's not interested.
Right. He drops a tip for the bartender, and he ends up taking it back.
I was questioning if I was going to tell this story, but I'm going to go ahead and tell it. I had a very similar incident happen in my life.
Okay.
My high school boyfriend.
Which one?
I only had one.
Okay. Yeah, okay.
You knew
Oh,
him.
yeah, of course.
We were at a restaurant. We were at the diner on Berlin Turnpike that's closing.
Okay, yeah.
Do you remember that diner? It was in a movie.
Yes,
We should cover that movie. It was timey whimey.
Okay.
I forget what it was called. Something 42.
Something 42. I'm not
sure. It took place in Australia.
Okay.
But our local diner was used as the footage. You remember this story?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anyways, we were at that diner having dinner and paid the bill. He left a tip. We left. But he took the tip back.
Wow.
The difference is when we got outside, he's bragging to me that he took the tip back.
What was the point?
Exactly.
He's
like, I got the tip. And you know what? I made him go put it back. I was very up. And this should have been an aside to me to end it right there, but it wasn't.
I mean, having a long history.
I mean, we were
with
kids.
You.
We were like 16, but yeah, this happened to me.
There are definitely instances in your life. I'm kind of familiar with your love life a little bit. Where there are definitely signs that you missed that you should have edited. but, hey, I'm not saying I'm any better, but yeah.
But this reminded me of that so much.
I get what Larry's doing here.
Yeah, he's hiding. He's trying to make her think he's leaving a tip.
I don't get what the point of what your boyfriend did was.
Right.
Or your ex-boyfriend, I should say.
He left the tip, but took the tip and was proud that he took the tip.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, maybe he was trying something similar, but forgot.
Right.
What he was trying to do.
He was trying to impress you, but then confessed that he took the tip back.
Yeah.
That was a total fail on his part. So, Nancy... Oh, yeah, okay. So, yeah. Nancy gets invited to the party. Rita gets invited to the party. She wants to invite Phil, but Nancy knows that he's already in there. And he's in there playing the piano. Larry goes in, gets flatly rejected by Nancy. He tries to put his arm around her, and he basically no.
She is very not interested.
So Rita notices Phil.
Rita's still impressed.
Yeah. Notices Phil playing the piano and is super amazed, and basically goes up to where Phil is, and she's talking to the piano teacher. He's like, "Oh yeah, that's my student,"
which is funny,
right?
Because you just met him today,
right? And so he finishes with a faster song, and he notices Rita. He goes down to talk to her.
The piano teacher takes over,
right? And a slow song starts to play because the piano teacher is clearly picking up on what's going on here. And basically they start to dance.
Phil and Rita.
The older ladies talk to Phil, and they're like, Phil is basically like, I don't know what that's
Yeah, he tells Rita he has no idea what that's about. They've just been flirting with him all night.
Yeah.
So basically what's happening is he's done all these great deeds.
Yeah.
And he's not bragging about them.
He doesn't want to take credit for any of it.
Right, that's what's happening.
And Rita, and then Buster comes and talks about, his life being saved.
Yeah, and Buster's wife thanks him and gives him a hug and tells Rita, don't let him go. He's a keeper.
And Rita at this point is flabbergasted.
Like, what? She's like, what happened today? At this point, I'm going to introduce the band members who are all playing during this scene. Yep. The guitar player is Roger Adler. This is his only credit. The bass player is Ben A. Fish. He was in one episode of Con Man. The drum player is Don Rios McNichols. This is his only acting credit, but he worked in special effects on films such as My Best Friend's Wedding and Home Alone 3. We've covered all the Home Alones now.
Yeah.
And the saxophone player is Brian Willig, and this is his only credit.
Yeah, I by the way, I don't think we're ever going to do a podcast on Home Alone 3.
We could.
We could, but I doubt it. But we could.
We could.
So, and then Fred and Debbie comes, and he's saved.
Yeah,
Fred
thanks Phil for talking Debbie into getting married.
Right. And Phil gives them tickets to WrestleMania. They freak out. And once again, I'm going to say this is more animated than I've ever seen Michael Shannon. He usually plays these kind of like very dry very closed characters. She ends up kissing Phil as a thanks, and then Fred, for no reason at all, there's nothing motivating this whatsoever, ends up kissing Rita, which Debbie doesn't like.
Of course,
and,
yeah.
And maybe this is this is where the honeymoon is over at this point, and possibly maybe it ruined their marriage too. Who knows?
Well, maybe they weren't supposed to get married.
Right.
Maybe she had cold feet for a reason.
Right. And then an older couple calls.
So this is Felix. He was one of the
the bankers. Yeah.
So Felix and his wife come up, and the wife thanks him for fixing Felix's back.
Right, and they call him Dr.
Connors. We didn't get to see that scene.
No.
She doesn't have a credit, Felix's wife, which is weird because she has a whole scene here.
Oh. And so he's continuing to downplay it. She's like, okay, what is going on here? And he's saying, oh, I don't know. And she's like, no, something is definitely going on with you. And then he says, do you want the long version or the short version? She says, start with the short version and we'll go from there. And then she apparently goes and tells her, I don't know how.
Yeah, because we cut to the next scene pretty seamlessly.
Right.
It feels like they didn't have time to have a conversation.
Right. So how much did he actually tell her?
Right.
I don't know. Did he tell her that I've been reliving the same day over and over again? And I don't think he had time to tell her that.
I don't think he did.
And the rest of the movie doesn't seem to support that she actually knows what happened.
Yeah.
So, anyway. Buster. Yeah, starts an auction for eligible bachelors. And Buster can only do this because he's alive.
Because he's alive. And we didn't cancel this because he died at the restaurant.
Doris ends up throwing Phil on stage with the intention of bidding on her. And
on him?
Yes, on him. The old ladies are in on this.
One of them bids $5.
Yep. And then it's
Nancy and Doris have a bidding war.
Hey, Nancy, if it makes you feel any better, you already had a night with Phil. And then basically, there's a bidding war between Nancy
up to $60
and Doris until Rita donates $359.85, and it's clearly the
Well, that's not the number I have.
No, what is it?
I have $339.88.
Oh, okay. But
one of us is wrong.
I'm sure you're the right one. But yeah,
it's
clear.
the balance of her checkbook. So
Right.
she holds her checkbook up in the air, and that's the amount that she bids. And I always thought
Clearly,
that
it's
was
the 88 cents that put it over the
I
top.
always thought that was awful silly that she's literally going to bid every penny she has. Like, she better hope he's willing to buy the next cup of coffee.
Right. She doesn't have any money
you're
move.
broke now.
Yeah. And this happens to be the winning bid. And then Larry jumps up next. And no one bids. And okay, come on. Like, you're starting to make me feel bad for a Chris Elliott character. Like, you're telling me that not a single person would be interested in him?
Well, Tire Lady wants him.
I guess so, but you're telling me no one else would be interested? I'm not buying it.
Well, Nancy wasn't interested.
I guess so, but Chris Elliott isn't that bad of a looking guy. Like, someone should have had some kind of interest besides someone willing to put down 25 cents.
Yeah, so Flat Tire Lady, one of them, bids 2 bits, which is 25 cents, and wins him. And she's very excited that she won him.
And you know what?
He's not very excited.
No. Why do we spend so much time shitting on Larry? He's not a bad guy.
I mean, that's the thing. That's his character.
Yeah.
Poor Larry.
I mean, that's what the role he plays in pretty much everything, as the poor schmuck. But anyway, Rita and Phil run into Ned, and who apparently he's bought every possible type of insurance from.
Yeah.
Fire,
So this day, he does not avoid Ned. He does not come on to him. He stops and actually buys insurance from him.
Right. Every kind of insurance. And I'm going to remind you, this is the day that counts.
This is the day that counts. So tomorrow, he's going to get a bill for 20 different insurance policies. Which he might need to rob that bank to pay for.
Right. And Ned is like, oh, what are you guys doing now? And Rita's like, oh, let's not spoil it. And then basically Ned laughs and is like, oh, I got that. And makes this really weird growling noise. I don't even know what he's doing. But
it must have taken a lot of time to sign all these insurance papers.
Yeah.
Like, he didn't just say, yes, I'm going to buy insurance from you and we'll talk about it tomorrow. Which should have been the route.
Right.
Instead, he actually, did it. Because Ned's like, he bought this, and this.
Yeah.
How did he fit all of these things into this day?
I don't
know. I feel like that would have taken hours just to sit down with Ned and buy all the insurance.
Yeah.
And he still had time to, help everybody and have this great, amazing day. Mm-hmm. Very, very busy day.
Right. Phil crafts an ice sculpture, and Rita wants him to hurry up because she's cold. And eventually, he basically jokes like, oh, I'm almost finished. We just have to put a cherry on top, and then we can eat it. And she's like, come on, Phil. I'm freezing here. And then she turns it around, and it happens to be an ice sculpture of her. She thinks it's amazing. He says he knows her face so well, he could have done it with his eyes closed. And Phil says that no matter what happens, he's happy now because he loves her. They kiss. And it starts snowing. And did it ever snow before? I'm getting the idea that this is kind of like a new event. Because Bill takes note of it.
I don't know. That's interesting. I hadn't thought of that. And they kiss. And you know what? It worked for her.
Yeah.
Telling him he loves her this time. It didn't freak her out.
Right.
It should have?
Maybe, but...
I mean, he's sincere and she can tell.
He's not...
But still, it's your first date and he's telling you I love you.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I kind of fall fast and hard, but,
But I don't think Rita does.
No. So the next morning, the radio plays, I Got You, Babe.
But the DJs have new lines.
Yep, they're saying something different now. And Rita is still there, complaining that it's too early, so she shuts off the radio.
She reaches over him and turns off the alarm clock.
And Phil is like almost not believing this. Like, wait, is this different? He pinches her, and she
maybe he's just dreaming, right?
Right, yeah. And Phil's, and when you're trying to test if you're dreaming, you're supposed to pinch yourself,
right?
But whatever.
He pinches her,
right? So Phil says something's different, and she's like, a good different or a bad different, and he's saying anything different is good. Phil asks her why she's still there. She bought him, and she still owns him. So why is she still there? And it's because he said to stay. So she stayed. And Phil jokes he can't even make a collie stay. And he gets up, telling her to stay again. He opens the window. There are no people outside.
Yeah, the crowd is gone.
Yep.
The snow is here that wasn't there yesterday morning.
So he basically says they're gone. and he gets all emotional saying it finally happened.
Yeah, he said, "You know what today is? Today is tomorrow."
Yeah, and if he didn't explain, anything to her,
right?
He basically sounds like a complete nut job at this point.
But she's not thrown off at all. They kiss, right. And we find out that nothing happened last night. They just fell asleep.
Right. I mean, Phil had a lot going on yesterday.
Yeah.
So
he goes, it was the end of a very long day.
Yeah. And so they end up kissing, and he asks her, is there anything I can do for you today? And she's like, I think there's something we can do, you can do for me. Hint, hint. And then they start kissing. The camera pans to the window that's frosted. And then we see them exiting the bed and breakfast. He thinks it's so beautiful. And he says to Rita, let's live here. And we'll start renting her. So
we'll rent to start.
So are they not going to go back to Pittsburgh?
And we get the next song from the soundtrack playing, almost like Being in Love.
Yep.
The scene, we'll rent to start, was actually another one, or the line rather, was actually another one that was improvised by Bill Murray.
Gotcha.
But Harold Ramis enjoyed it so much he kept it in the final cut.
And then he kisses her, and then they run off together, enjoying the snow, and that is where the movie ends.
Yeah, which...
Well, you gotta wonder.
I feel like, I don't know, it still feels so out of character for her.
Yeah.
I mean, okay, so the difference is he actually became a better person instead of just pretending to be who she wanted him to be.
Yes.
So I get that. She honestly, is impressed by him and is intrigued by him and totally get that she wanted to buy him in the auction, whatever. I'm sure that was for a good cause.
Mm.
But she still doesn't feel like the type of woman that's going to just fall in love with a man in one day.
Yeah.
And, be okay with him saying he loves her, spending the night together, and then being happy about him saying, let's live here.
Right.
We're together happily ever after now.
Right.
When we met yesterday.
Right. So, from his perspective, it makes total sense.
Yeah, and it's this beautiful, romantic ending, but, she just met him.
Right.
And they didn't even spend the day together.
Mm.
When he was pursuing her and they had this date, none of that even happened.
Right.
He blew her off after the ceremony.
Right.
She doesn't see him again until the party.
Right.
So all they had was the night. Huh. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I get you.
She spent 4 hours with him total.
Hey, you know what I'm kind of curious about? How is Phil going to react experiencing something new? Just going back to his life and not knowing what's going to happen?
Right, not knowing what's going to happen.
After so many years of experiencing the same day and knowing every single thing that's going to happen.
Right.
He's going to have some re-entry problems there. Mm. It's going to be like, the day you get out of prison.
Right.
Yeah.
Which, was it you or Adam who was like, well, that's a good reason why he's not going to want to move back to Pittsburgh.
Yeah, that does make sense. Is maybe he wants to stay here because...
Or at least he knows the people here.
Right, yeah. Yeah, it makes sense. Yeah.
It's kind of a cheesy ending, though.
Yeah.
I mean, I like it. It's
still
cute.
Like it. Yeah.
And it is a sweet little romance, but if you look at it too hard, which is what we do.
Yes, that is what we do.
I don't know.
Yeah. And I gotta say, this is probably one of my favorite Bill Murray performances in any movie.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
Yes. Another tidbit. So before this movie came out, Puxatawny would attract about 2,000 visitors every Groundhog Day.
Oh, yeah?
Nowadays, they get anywhere from 20,000 to 40,000 people show up.
Nice.
Wow. So it's gotten quite bigger since then.
I guess so. Yeah.
Should we go to Puxatawny?
Why not?
Or should we go to Woodstock, Illinois, and see those signs, Ned's Corner?
We could do that, too.
Do both.
Yeah. Why not?
So I'm going to read off the other uncredited listings that we have. Obviously, there are hundreds of background performers in this film, but we have just a few of them that actually have listings on IMDb. Again, I don't have credits for them, but I'm going to give you their names. We have a reporter, played by Tony DeGuide. A news intern, played by Stephen Dethridge. We have a reporter, played by Jeff Deglucky. I'm terrible with names.
As am I.
I'm better than you, though.
Yes, you are.
We have Channel 3 cameraman, played by Ari Golan. News reporter, played by Simon Harvey. Valet, played by Mike Knox. Polka dancer, played by Regina Prokop. And bachelor, played by Daniel Riggs.
Okay. Is that it?
That's it.
All right.
That's all I got.
All right. Do you have any further thoughts, or are we just done?
I don't have anything else in my note. 13 pages of notes.
I had 16, and yeah, we're like at 2 hours, so I think we've talked enough.
I think we talked about it.
Yeah.
Overall, even though it's still, I can definitely find some problems, especially when looking at it too hard. It's still a great movie, and I love it.
Yeah.
And it's a classic, and I think everybody should watch it every year on Groundhog Day.
I agree. And I think we should do this again and have both podcasts come out at the same time. And
we'll just redo the podcast every year.
Yeah, but slightly different. But yeah. All right, so we'd like to hear from you. What'd you think of this movie? What'd you think of the podcast? Stacey, can be reached at?
I can be reached at all the places at TV and Coupon Talk.
If you like this video and want to support your channel, there are a number of ways to do so. You can follow me on Twitter at Core Productions. You can join one of my Core Productions Facebook pages. You can buy something from the Core Productions store on Zazzle. You can buy me a copy. You can join the Core Productions membership for 99 cents a month. And of course, you can like, share, and comment on this video as well as subscribe to the channel. This is Dave and Stacey from Core Production, experiencing deja vu because I feel like I've done this before, signing off.
I just love watching it. Always watch it on Groundhog Day, obviously, because I'm that kind of guy. Like I watch the film of the holiday on the day. It's playing again in the theater, so I'll have Serenity. I don't know if we're going to go to the movie theater and watch Groundhog Day in the movie theater on Groundhog Day. Seems like something that would make sense to do. But if we repeat that day over and over again, do I want to get stuck driving all the way to the movie theater and going through the whole thing? And what if the only thing I can eat that day is popcorn? Like, I think it'll be okay if I'm not aware of the time loop, but if I'm aware of the time loop, I guess I don't have to go to the movie theater every day. We can go the first Groundhog Day for this year, but maybe we'll do other things other times. I get sad when I don't have Serenity with me on Groundhog Day, but this year I do. So that way, if the day does repeat over and over again, I'll get to hang out with her for a long time.